Chapter 209. Holy shit. Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor's eyes widened and he jumped up. The dark green pill in the bottle was actually a nether spirit pill, and its medicinal effect was so terrifying. It was just as Ningyu had said, if he consumed it, the consequences would be unimaginable. The people of the corpse sect all have bad intentions. They're trying to harm me even after they're dead. The Dark Emperor's expression was ugly, as if he had been tricked. I'll take this pill. Who knows, I might need it in the future. With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu put the nether spirit pill into his spatial ring and said, "Let's recuperate here for a while before heading to the Mio forest." Recuperate here? Hearing Ningyu's words, Hongmo was stunned, then he said doubtfully, "I don't think there's a need for that. We should head to the Mio forest immediately." That's right. The people of the corpse sect are sinister and cunning. We should head there as soon as possible and kill their mother. The Dark Emperor was furious, so he naturally didn't want to stay to recuperate. Right now, he just wanted to head to the Mio forest as soon as possible and capture all the people of the corpse sect. Compared to the Dark Emperor, Hongmo's eyes were much sharper. After carefully observing Ningyu, Hongmo said, "Ningyu, are you injured?" "Injured? What's there to be injured now?" "What? Ningyu is injured." The Dark Emperor was very unhappy after being tricked by Luo Ping. He really wanted to go to the Mio forest to take revenge. However, Hongmo's words made him confused, so he quickly released his perception. When he noticed that Ningyu's soul force wasn't at its peak state, his face abruptly turned gloomy, and he said, "I was wondering how you were able to annihilate Qi Jiang, who was evenly matched with you. So it turns out that you paid a heavy price. Your soul force is in a weak state. You must be treated in time," Hongmo said after pondering for a moment. Since Hongmo and the others already knew, Ningyu didn't plan to hide it. He sighed, "I also want to be treated in time, but I don't have any pills to recover my soul force." Hongmo's face was gloomy. He seemed to have made a big decision. He said in a deep voice, "Take out that semicircular pendant. There is pure soul energy inside. It can help you recover your soul energy to its peak." Raising his brow, Ningyu looked at the red devil and took out the pendant with a thought. Ever since the red devil came out of the pendant, Ningyu hadn't observed it and left it in his storage ring. After Hongmo's body, he didn't want to find it, and didn't. Ning 99 red 66 master. Ning 9S is used sword was 6. Back then, half of Master Lung's soul force was absorbed by the pendant and the other half by the soul-severing sword. Ningyu refined the soul-severing sword's pure soul force, but the pendant should still have the soul-severing sword's pure soul force. This pendant has a total of 4 layers. Hongmo closed his eyes as if he was recalling something. A moment later, he opened his eyes and said, "My spirit body is suppressed by the hexagram array in the first layer. The pure soul power absorbed by the pendant is stored in the second layer. You can devour the soul power in the second layer and use it to heal your soul injuries. The third layer is where the 7 stars array is. It's also where my body is trapped. As for the fourth layer, I don't know what's inside." The Dark Emperor was an impatient person. He quickly said, "Ningyu, what are you waiting for? Hongmo and I will protect you. Hurry up and absorb the soul force in the pendant." The Dark Emperor flew to the other side and released his senses to probe the surroundings. Glancing at Ningyu, Hongmo's figure flashed and he came to the Dark Emperor's side. After the Dark Emperor and Hongmo left, Ningyu looked at the blue pendant in his hand and fell into deep thought. He didn't know if he should believe Hongmo's words. After all, Hongmo's body was in the pendant. He might release Hongmo's body. Hongmo was already so strong in his spirit body state. If he was to fuse with his body, his strength would increase by at least several times. Moreover, in the past, when Ningyu's soul force came into contact with the pendant, it would devour his soul force. Could it be that the pendant had lost this function? Swoosh. Ningyu knew that it wasn't good to worry too much. Therefore, he immediately separated a portion of his soul force and quietly approached the pendant. When this portion of soul force approached the pendant, it wasn't devoured like before. Instead, it slowly entered the pendant. It's just like what Hongmo said. His spirit body is trapped in the first layer. As his soul force continued to enter, Ningyu realized that the pendant had a total of 4 layers. He didn't stay in the first layer for too long. Ningyu controlled his soul force to enter the second layer. Kai Kai. As soon as his soul force entered the second layer, Ningyu opened his eyes in disbelief. There was a huge amount of pure soul force in the second layer. The amount of pure soul force. Ningyu even realized that the amount of pure soul force in the second layer was much more than the soul force he had absorbed from Master Lung. In other words, the pendant had also absorbed strong soul force in the past. Let's do it. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu separated a few more portions of soul force into the pendant and began to absorb the pure soul force. Swoosh. At the same time, the Dark Emperor was still mumbling to himself. It was obvious that he was still angry. You shouldn't have killed Luo Ping back then. You should have kept him and tortured him. Hong Mo rolled his eyes and said, you should have kept him and tortured him. It's not like you don't know the situation back then. If I didn't kill him, you would have lost your life long ago. Luo Ping was indeed very strong. He almost killed one of them even though he was fighting 1 against 2. If it wasn't for Hong Mo taking the opportunity to sneak attack from the side, the Dark Emperor would have been crippled even if he didn't die. Hong Mo, when do you think Ningyu will recover his soul force to its peak? After mumbling a few more times, the Dark Emperor said, this is a very good opportunity. If we miss this opportunity, there won't be another one. Don't worry. With Ningyu's recovery ability and the huge amount of pure soul force in the pendant, Ningyu will be able to recover to his peak by nightfall. Hong Mo was obviously very confident in Ningyu. Well, it's really infuriating. No wonder it's called the Corpse Sect's Ghost Talent Hall. Everyone inside is a ghost talent, a peerless genius. The Dark Emperor was a little depressed. With his cultivation at the peak of the true martial realm and the Emperor of the Heaven-Swallowing Dog Clan, he couldn't even kill a small peak Xiantian martial artist. If this were to spread, he would probably lose all his face. Don't be discouraged. After all, your bloodline hasn't awakened yet. Seeing the Dark Emperor's depression, Hong Mo said, the purple gold heaven-swallowing dog is extremely powerful. My first master once encountered a purple gold heaven-swallowing dog that had awakened half of its bloodline. Just its aura alone could make a yin-yang realm martial artist tremble. Chapter 210. Sigh, awakening the bloodline is easier said than done. With a sigh, the Dark Emperor said, there is only one way to awaken the bloodline in the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan. That is to head to the Heaven-Devouring Lake. The Heaven-Devouring Lake is already occupied by them. Awakening the bloodline is still a long way off. Don't be discouraged. With Ningyu's speed of growth, it won't be long before he has the ability to bring you to the Heaven-Devouring Lake. The Red Devil said. In fact, the Red Devil had a plan in mind. The energy contained in the Heaven-Devouring Lake was immense. Once he entered the Heaven-Devouring Lake, there was a high chance that he could break the 7-star array. That way, he would be able to free his main body trapped in the 3rd layer of the pendant. Once his main body was freed, he would be able to fly freely in the sky and jump freely in the sea. Don't think too much now. Let's take a good rest. After all, we still have a tough battle ahead of us. The Dark Emperor said after sorting out his thoughts. There were 4 geniuses from the Ghost Talent Hall and 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists in the Mio Woods. This battle was indeed going to be a tough one. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 6 hours had passed and night fell. Phew. Sensing the strength of the soul energy in his body, Ningyu heaved a sigh of relief and stood up abruptly. Flicking his wrist, he kept the pendant in his storage ring. Ningyu's eyes were filled with surprise. Peak 4th grade. After 6 hours of absorption, not only did Ningyu recover his damaged soul power, but his soul power had also advanced to the peak of grade 4, Underworld Dominating Palm. With a thought, Ningyu wrapped his soul force around his palm and pushed it out. Kai Kai. A giant palm print appeared in the air and slammed into the void. The palm print was extremely fast. As it rubbed against the air, it even made a sizzling sound. Who is it? As soon as Ningyu executed the Underworld Dominating Palm, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil's expressions changed drastically. They immediately flew towards Ningyu. Don't worry. I'm just testing its power. Ningyu blasted out another palm print, which collided with the first underworld dominating palm, and both of them dissipated between heaven and earth. Ningyu, your strength. It actually strengthened again. Seeing Ningyu's actions, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil were dumbfounded. This was because the power of the two palms that Ningyu had just unleashed was much stronger than before. At the very least, they didn't dare to take it head-on. Not long ago, the Dark Emperor had said that the people of the Ghost Talent Hall were freaks. Now, it seemed that there was only one true freak, and that was Ningyu. Ningyu had only spent 6 hours to go from having his soul injured to having his strength greatly increased. Ningyu gloomily said, "It's a dark and windy night. Let's go and meet the people from the corpse sect." "Go. I can't wait." The Emperor of the Dark World was an impatient person. Without much hesitation, he immediately rose from the ground and rushed towards the mean forest. As for the Red Demon, his eyes narrowed and he followed behind the Dark Emperor. Whoosh! With a thought, the phantom armor appeared on his body. Ningyu's speed skyrocketed as he chased after the Dark Emperor. After flying for about an hour, Ningyu and the others stopped. Looking at the giant red trees in front of him, Ningyu murmured, "So this is the mean forest. This is the periphery of the mean forest. The people of the corpse sect are in the deepest part. Let's go in quickly." With that, the Dark Emperor's figure flashed and he wanted to enter the mean forest. However, Ningyu placed his hand on the Dark Emperor's shoulder and said, "We can't go in like this. We should prepare before going in." At the entrance of the mean forest, Ningyu faintly smelled something unusual, causing him to secretly raise his guard. Luo Ping and Qi Jiang were the peerless geniuses ranked 6th and 7th in the Ghost Talent Hall of the Corpse Sect. It had already been 6 to 8 hours since they were killed. Maybe the people of the Corpse Sect in the mean forest had already received the news. If they rashly entered the mean forest at this time, they might encounter an ambush. If there are too many people, it will be easy to expose the target. Ningyu said, "That's simple. I can enter the storage ring and red skin can attach to the broken soul sword." The Dark Emperor smiled and said, "As for you, you need to prepare well." Ningyu was speechless, but this was also good. At least they wouldn't expose too much of their strength. "Okay, I will enter the mean forest myself. You guys wait for an opportunity," Ningyu said. Swish, swish. In the next moment, Red Demon turned into a shadow and attached to the broken soul sword. As for the Dark Emperor, he went back into the storage ring. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu slightly concealed his aura. From the outside, he looked no different from an early Xiantian realm martial artist. Releasing his soul perception, Ningyu carefully walked towards the depths of the mean forest. Ningyu walked very slowly. Every few steps, he would stop to observe. Although he didn't encounter any danger along the way, the deeper he went into the mean forest, the bad feeling in Ningyu's heart became stronger and stronger. Swoosh! Suddenly, Ningyu's face changed. He quickly found a place to lie down and completely concealed his aura. Swoosh! 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 Not long after Ningyu lay down, 6 wind-breaking sounds rang out. Then, 6 figures appeared not far in front of him. Looking at the figure at the front, Ningyu was slightly startled because he had met him once. Cheng Hai. Back in the premium pavilion, Cheng Hai had struck up a conversation with Ningyu. He said that he had something to ask Ningyu for help. After the matter was completed, he would receive a reward of 1 million high-grade origin crystals. Why are they here? Originally, there were only 5 of them. Why are there 6 now? Although he was a little puzzled, Ningyu didn't make a sound. Instead, he lay down on the ground and didn't move. Cheng Hai, where is the cave you mentioned? Next to Cheng Hai, an early true martial realm martial artist said impatiently, "We have walked for several hours. Why are we still not there?" "Haha, Wei Peng, don't worry." Smiling faintly, Cheng Hai said, "That cave is in the depths of the mean forest. As long as you help me lure away the rank 4 demonic beast in front of the cave, I will give you the crystals I promised you. I hope you keep your word. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite," Wei Peng said coldly. How could we dare to play tricks on you? You are in the early stage of the true martial realm, while the 5 of us are in the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Even if the 5 of us were to fight you alone, it would still be impossible for us to win. Cheng Hai laughed and said. Cheng Hai is a good schemer. In the distance, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and thought to himself that Cheng Hai was indeed a good schemer. When they were in Wu Tuo City, Cheng Hai and the other 4 martial artists were at the peak of Xiantian realm, but now they were only at the late stage of Xiantian realm. Obviously, they had deceived Wei Peng, who was at the early stage of true martial realm, and Wei Peng was completely unaware of it. Let's hurry up and leave. Don't waste time here. Waving his hand, Wei Peng said impatiently. Ha ha ha. Leave. Where do you want to go? However, before Wei Peng and the rest could move, a loud laughter rang out. Xiao. Xiao. Chapter 211. Who? The sudden change caused Cheng Hai and the rest to have a drastic change in expression. Looking at the several figures standing in front of him, Cheng Hai shouted in a deep voice, Who are you? Who I am is not important, what's important is. At this point, the middle-aged man in the lead paused for a moment before continuing, You will all die today. Humph. Want to kill us? How can it be so easy? With a cold snort, Cheng Hai and the rest revealed their Xiantian full-cycle aura. Cheng Hai, you are all Xiantian full-cycle martial artist. Beside them, Wei Peng's face turned ugly when he felt the powerful aura from Cheng Hai and the rest. Since Wu Tuo City, Wei Peng had always thought that Cheng Hai and the rest were late Xiantian full-cycle martial artists. Now that he saw Cheng Hai and the rest were all Xiantian full-cycle martial artists, he felt like he was being played. Wan Chong Cheng. Cheng Hai and Wei Peng might not know who the middle-aged man was, but Ningyu did. The middle-aged man was none other than the shopkeeper of Wu Tuo City's Snow Domain Pavilion, Wan Chong Cheng. Didn't Wan Chong City invite the top 3 martial artists on the Death Arena list? Why isn't there even a single half-step Yuan Dan martial artist behind him? Ningyu frowned, feeling somewhat puzzled. Although there were many martial artists around Wan Chong Cheng, their cultivations were not very high. Most of them were in the middle stage of the true martial realm, and there were only a few in the late stage. Could it be that the top 3 martial artists on the Death Arena list were not here? Swoosh. Just when Ningyu was confused, a figure suddenly appeared beside Wei Peng and punched out. Bang! His iron-like fist brought with it a whistling gust of wind as it landed squarely on Wei Peng's chest. Poochie. Wei Peng coughed up a mouthful of blood as he felt a fishy taste in his throat. His body retreated several feet before he could stabilize himself. Courting death. Half-step Yuan Dan stage. Stabilizing his body, Wei Peng wanted to reprimand a few words, but his mouth opened and revealed an extremely terrified expression. He realized that the martial artist who attacked him just now had a cultivation of a horrifying half-step Yuan Dan stage. Wei Peng was well aware that he was only at the early stage of the true martial realm. Facing a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist, only death awaited him. Who are you and what do you want? With a dark expression, Cheng Hai stepped forward and asked in a deep voice. Wan Chong Cheng did not reply to Cheng Hai. Instead, he looked at the half-step primal core cultivator who injured Wei Peng and said, Leave one cultivator behind and kill the rest. Understood. The half-step Yuan Dan stage practitioner nodded his head, before his figure flashed and charged towards Wei Peng. Bang! Wei Peng was only an early-stage true martial realm martial artist. Coupled with the heavy injuries he had just suffered, he was only able to withstand a single move before being killed by a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. After Wei Peng died, the half-step origin core realm martial artist changed his direction and rushed towards Cheng Hai and the rest. Split up and run. At the critical moment, Cheng Hai let out a low shout and rushed towards the outskirts of the Mio forest. If they stayed and fought head-on, Cheng Hai knew that they wouldn't be able to survive. If they split up, they might be able to escape. Puff, puff. However, before Cheng Hai and the rest could run too far, another 2 half-step Yuan Dan stage practitioners appeared and killed 2 Xiantian full-circle cultivators. Shua. This sudden change caused Cheng Hai's heart to skip a beat and he hurriedly stopped. When the two half-step Yuan Dan stage practitioners appeared, Cheng Hai already knew that he couldn't escape. Since he couldn't escape, Cheng Hai decided not to. Instead, he stood on the spot and said in a deep voice, "Before I die, I want to know why you want to kill us. You are very lucky to be the one to survive." The corner of Wn Chongqing's mouth curled up as he said, "Puff, puff." Not long after Wn Chongqing's words, the other two Xiantian full-circle cultivators who followed Cheng Hai were also killed. Now, of the 6 cultivators, only Cheng Hai was left. Those who survive should be rewarded. With a flick of his sleeve, a jade bottle appeared in Wn Chongqing's hand. "As long as you swallow this pill, I can guarantee your life." Opening the jade bottle, Wan Chongqing said, "What pill is this?" Cheng Hai asked. "Nether spirit pill." Cheng Hai didn't know what pill was inside the jade bottle, but Ning Yu was very clear about it. The pill inside the jade bottle was dark green in color, and a gloomy aura was emitted from the bottle. Wan Chongqing actually has a nether spirit pill? Could he also be from the corpse sect? Ning Yu frowned and murmured to himself. The nether spirit pill was a unique pill of the corpse sect. Normal people wouldn't even recognize it, let alone obtain it. If Ning Yu didn't have the memories of his previous life, he definitely wouldn't be able to recognize the nether spirit pill. Suddenly, Ning Yu seemed to have discovered something and said in surprise, "This nether spirit pill is not a 7th grade pill, but a 5th grade pill." In Ning Yu's knowledge, the nether spirit pill was a 7th grade pill. Could it be that the corpse sect had already developed a 5th grade nether spirit pill? If that was the case, then it was too scary. The 7th grade nether spirit pill couldn't be mass-produced, but the 5th grade nether spirit pill could be mass-produced. It could be imagined that if a large number of 5th grade nether spirit pills flowed into the Great Xia Kingdom, it would be a disaster for the Great Xia Kingdom. You don't need to know so much. Right now, you have 2 choices. Wn Chongqing was a bit impatient and said, "First, take the initiative to swallow this pill. Second, we will force you to swallow it." "It seems that I have no other choice." Cheng Hai gritted his teeth and took the nether spirit pill from Wn Chongqing's hand. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. Ah! Cheng Hai had just swallowed the nether spirit pill when he let out a loud cry. Then, he closed his eyes and fainted. What's going on? Could there be a problem with this pill? Seeing Cheng Hai fainting, Wn Chongqing's brows furrowed and he muttered, "This doesn't make sense. When they gave me the pill, they told me that it was a newly developed 5th grade pill. There shouldn't be a problem." Buzz buzz. 1 minute later, Cheng Hai, who had fallen to the ground, suddenly stood up. His eyes flickered with a bit of light. However, the light in Cheng Hai's eyes only lasted for 10 seconds before it dissipated. In exchange, his eyes became dim. "It's done." Cheng Hai's change did not disappoint Wn Chongqing. Instead, he was overjoyed. In the next moment, Wn Chongqing forced a drop of blood onto Cheng Hai's skin. The blood flowed into Cheng Hai's body and entered his brain. "Take 2 steps. Wn Chongqing said in a low voice. "Sure sure." Just as Wn Chongqing's voice fell, Cheng Hai moved 2 steps forward. "I didn't expect a mere 5th grade pill to be so powerful that it can control a Xiantian full-cycle martial artist." Wn Chongqing's face was filled with ecstasy as he laughed sinisterly. "If I can get a 6th grade or even 7th grade nether spirit pill, it won't be difficult to control the Snow Domain Pavilion." Wn Chongqing's eyes narrowed into slits as if he could see the grand occasion when he became the pavilion master of the Snow Domain Pavilion. Chapter 212. 3 half-step Yuan Dan stage martial artists, and there's even a half-step Yuan Dan stage old demon hidden in the surrounding. Should I make a move or not? Seeing that Wn Chongqing's group was about to leave, Ning Yu clenched his fists and quickly thought of a countermeasure. The first 3 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists were still fine, they were much weaker than Luo Ping and Qi Jiang from the corpse sect. The Dark Emperor and Hong Mo should be able to deal with them. As for the half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster, his strength was much stronger, he was infinitely close to the Yuan Dan realm. That old monster's strength was probably comparable to Qi Jiang's. I must make a move. Ningyu's face darkened as he shouted. Although he knew that WN Zhongqing's group was very strong, Ningyu was clear that if he didn't make a move now, it would be too late when WN Zhongqing's group joined forces with the corpse sect. Shua. Thinking of this, Ningyu's figure flashed and blocked WN Zhongqing's path. Ningyu, you didn't die in the death arena? The figure that suddenly appeared in front of him caused WN Zhongqing to be slightly stunned, but when he saw that the person in front of him was Ningyu, he suddenly laughed heartily. After laughing, WN Zhongqing gloomily said, enemies really meet on a narrow road. I haven't even gone to look for you and you've already delivered yourself to my doorstep. Finished speaking, WN Zhongqing's gaze swept left and right, trying to see if there were any hidden martial artists. There's no need to look, I'm alone. Ningyu naturally knew what WN Zhongqing was thinking, so he waved his hand and said, I didn't expect you to collude with the corpse sect. It was my mistake not to kill you last time. WN Zhongqing's eyes narrowed as he said in a deep voice, nonsense. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that. Shrugging, Ningyu indifferently said, the elixir Chenghai swallowed was not an ordinary elixir, it was the ghost elixir, a kind of elixir specially developed by the corpse sect. Hiss. Hearing Ningyu's words, the few true martial realm martial artists beside WN Chongcheng revealed looks of horror. Although they didn't know what the nether spirit pill was, they knew about the corpse sect and were afraid of the corpse sect. Now that they heard that WN Zhong City was colluding with the corpse yin sect, how could they not be shocked? Don't listen to his nonsense. Seeing that WN Chongcheng was having a hard time dealing with them, the half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster who was hiding in the shadows flashed and landed in the middle of the crowd. The half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster released his aura, pointed at Ningyu, and shouted, he is a member of the corpse sect. Elder She. So you're here too. With Elder She here, we'll definitely be fine. Yes, Elder She is an elder of the Snow Domain Pavilion. Of course, we believe what he says. Seeing a half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster, the surrounding true martial realm martial artists instantly calmed down. Obviously, this Elder She's position in their hearts was very high, at least several levels higher than WN Chongqing's. Brat, who the hell are you? Why are you spreading lies here? Elder She shouted at Ningyu. Whether I'm spreading lies or not, you should be very clear about this. Ningyu lightly said, those who are innocent, those who are turbid. Narrowing his eyes, Elder She took a step forward and turned into a shadow as he rushed towards Ningyu. What nonsense are you spouting? You're courting death. If Elder She makes a move, this brat will definitely be killed. That's right, he's just a Xiantian cultivator, while Elder She has already advanced to the half-step Yuan Dan realm. He's dead for sure. Hehe, Ningyu, this time you're still not dead. WN Chongqing's lips curled into a sinister smile. Like the crowd, Ningyu was dead for sure. Although he didn't know why Ningyu didn't die in the death arena, from WN Chongqing's point of view, Ningyu would definitely be killed by Elder She. After all, Elder She was a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. His strength was extremely strong, and he was infinitely close to the Yuan Dan realm. Elder She would have no problem dealing with two ordinary half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists. What? However, the scene in front of him caused WN Chongqing's mouth to widen in shock. Shio. Just as Elder She was about to reach Ningyu, two cold rays of light suddenly shot out from Ningyu's body, one on the left and one on the right, rushing towards Elder She. Furthermore, Ningyu also drew out a flying sword and attacked from the middle. Peng. Elder She was indeed a peak half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Fighting 1 against 3, he only took a few steps back and did not suffer any serious injuries. After one attack, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil stood on either side of Ningyu. Old fart, you're not weak. Rubbing his swollen wrist, Ningyu's expression was a little ugly. Through the hurried exchange just now, Ningyu could basically conclude that this Elder She was very strong, equivalent to half a Qi Jiang. If he hadn't trained his soul force to the peak of grade 4, he wouldn't even have the slightest chance of winning against Elder She. Dark Emperor, Red Devil, you two go deal with the other 3 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists. I'll hold Elder She back. Clenching his fists, Ningyu said in a low voice. Be careful. The Dark Emperor and the Red Devil knew that after Ningyu's soul force reached the peak of grade 4, his strength had far surpassed theirs. Therefore, the heavy responsibility of holding Elder Sha back could only be accomplished by Ningyu. If it were any of them, they would probably die here. Their figures flashed, and the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil attacked the top 3 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists on the Death Arena list. Elder Sha, should we go to the depths of the Mio forest to inform them? Wn Chongqing's face was a little gloomy as he asked Elder Sha. All right. After thinking for a while, Elder Sha said. After receiving Elder Sha's affirmative answer, Wn Chongqing and the other true martial realm martial artists rose from the ground and ran toward the depths of the Mio forest. Not good. The reason why Ningyu chose to make a move now was mainly because he didn't want Wn Chongqing and the corpse sect to meet. If they joined forces, the consequences would be unimaginable. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. Using his soul force, Ningyu took out the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse from his storage ring. Furthermore, Ningyu stuffed a storage bag filled with 900,000 high-grade origin crystals into the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's head to support its attack. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, his really from the corpse sec. Everyone, run. This Dark Gold Spirit Corpse has the strength of a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. If we don't leave now, it'll be too late. Quickly escape and return to Wu Tuo City. Bang! The Dark Gold Spirit Corpse raised its right foot and suddenly stomped on the ground. Soon after, a deep and powerful voice slowly came from its mouth. Those who leave without permission, die. The moment the word die fell, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's body emitted an extremely strong aura, which pressured the surrounding true martial realm martial artists to the point that they couldn't breathe. After taking a glance at the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, Elder Sha withdrew his gaze and looked at Ningyu. I didn't expect you to have a treasure like the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. It's really surprising. That's normal. Holding the soul-breaking sword in his hand, Ningyu took a step forward. The Yuan Qi in his sea of knowledge burst out as he lightly said, "Next, I'll let you know that there are still many surprises to come." Chapter 213. I have a question for you. Ningyu did not take Elder Sha's mockery to heart. Instead, he said lightly, "Do your parents know about your arrogance? You're courting death." Elder Sha's eyes turned cold as he jumped up from the ground. Violent Yuan Qi appeared on his palm as he slapped at Ningyu's cheek. Feeling the intense Yuan Qi on Elder Sha's palm, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat as an ominous premonition rose in his heart. Elder Sha's current condition was that he was only one step away from the Yuan Dan realm. In other words, if Elder Sha wanted to reach the Yuan Dan realm, he would have an 80% chance of success. If he had a true elemental Dan, he would have a 90% chance of successfully reaching the Yuan Dan realm. 9 Pure Sword Wave. Facing an expert like Elder Sha, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. He immediately displayed his trump card, the 4th style of the supreme 9 Pure Sword art, 9 Pure Sword Wave. Swoosh. 3 consecutive sword waves formed in the air and flew toward Elder Sha's palm. When the sword waves were about to reach Elder Sha, they suddenly exploded and split into 9, surrounding Elder Sha from different directions. I didn't expect a Xiantian Peak Realm Warrior to be so strong. This is beyond my expectations. Seeing the sword wave split into 9, Elder Sha's expression finally changed. However, it was only a slight change. He didn't panic at all. His palms quickly formed a seal in the air, and in a split second, a huge palm print was formed and collided with the 9 sword waves. Kai! Kai! The moment the sword waves and the palm print collided, a huge shockwave exploded and spread in all directions. Netherworld Samsara Palm, dominating Underworld. In the blink of an eye, Ningyu wrapped his soul power around his palm and instantly displayed the dominating Underworld Palm. Because Ningyu's soul power had reached the peak of the 4th grade, the dominating Underworld Palm's power had increased tremendously, and its speed had also increased. Not good. After the attack, Elder Sha was about to say a few harsh words, but his sharp senses noticed that a solid palm print was coming toward him. Elder Sha had never expected such a turn of events. Ningyu's reaction speed was so terrifying. Phantom Golden Core. At this critical moment, Big Boss Sha opened his mouth and an egg-sized golden core appeared above his head. Whoosh! After the illusory golden core appeared, a powerful wave of essence chi radiated from it and blasted towards the underworld tyrant palm. Hua! The origin energy light wave was extremely powerful. The instant the netherworld overlord palm came into contact with it, it dissipated between heaven and earth. The soul force on it also disappeared. Damn it! Ningyu knew that the situation was not good when Elder Sha displayed his golden core shadow. Although his strength could contend with a half-step origin core realm martial artist, facing a powerful martial artist like Elder Sha, he was helpless. Corpse Yin Sphere. In the next moment, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and a cold light shot out from it, flying towards Elder Sha's illusory golden core. The Corpse Yin Sphere was something that Ningyu had obtained from Zhonghu. Although it could only cause harm to a late-stage true martial realm martial artist, he did not care too much about it. Every second he could buy was a second. Hee. Facing the Corpse Yin Sphere, the corner of Elder Sha's mouth curled up and he casually waved a ball of essence chi. As soon as the Corpse Yin Sphere came into contact with the ball of essence chi, it exploded and a huge shockwave spread in all directions. However, this shockwave obviously did not pose the slightest threat to Elder Sha. Kid, let's end it here. Elder Sha obviously did not want to waste any more time here. With a thought, the illusory golden core in mid-air suddenly sped up and rushed towards Ningyu. Kai. The golden core was so fast that it even created a sizzling sound as it rubbed against the air. Ningyu's heart sank to the bottom when he saw the illusory golden core attacking him. Elder Sha's golden core shadow was much stronger than the left protector's. Ningyu did not have the confidence to block it. However, Ningyu would not sit still and wait for death. Come out. Ningyu gritted his teeth and the essence chi in his sea of consciousness roiled. Then, all the essence chi in the 12 cyclones poured out. After a huge amount of essence chi rushed out, it formed 12 protective nets in front of Ningyu. Crack, crack, crack. As soon as the 12 protective nets were formed, Elder Sha's golden core shadow arrived in front of Ningyu. 3 consecutive cracking sounds rang out and 3 essence chi protective nets were smashed. Crack, crack, crack. A second later, another 3 essence chi protective nets were smashed. Crack, crack. Crack, crack. Following that, a series of cracking sounds rang out. In a mere 3 seconds, 11 of the essence chi protective nets in front of Ningyu had been smashed. There was only 1 protective net left. If the last protective net was destroyed, Ningyu would have to face Elder Sha's golden core shadow directly. What should I do? At this moment, Ningyu calmed down. He rolled his eyes and thought of a solution. 1 second. Ningyu thought for 1 second. And it was this 1 second that completely changed his fate. Crack. A second later, the last protective net was smashed. The golden core shadow had already arrived in front of Ningyu. The golden core shadow emitted a strong wave of energy. Ningyu's face darkened. However, he stood his ground and closed his eyes, allowing the golden core shadow to hit his chest. Has he given up? Ningyu's action made Elder Sha frown. He was confused. Although puzzled, Elder Sha would not let go of such a good opportunity. He controlled the illusory golden core and instantly blasted it at Ningyu's chest. Just as the golden core shadow was about to hit Ningyu's chest, Ningyu's closed eyes suddenly opened and an evil smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. What's going on? Seeing Ningyu's evil smile, Elder Sha suddenly had a bad feeling. He wanted to withdraw the golden core shadow. Fart. However, before Elder Sha could withdraw the golden core shadow, he saw that Ningyu was holding a dark green pill in his right hand. He suddenly slapped it at his golden core shadow. Just as his palm was about to touch the golden core shadow, Ningyu used a little force and crushed the dark green pill. Yuan Chi wrapped around the powder and scattered it on the golden core shadow. Damn it! It's the spirit pill. The moment Elder Sha saw the powder, he realized that something was wrong. He cursed and quickly withdrew the golden core shadow. However, Ningyu's speed was extremely fast. Before Elder Sha could withdraw the golden core shadow, he had already inserted the powder into the golden core shadow. The 7th grade spirit pill was very attached. Although it was only a golden core shadow and not a real golden core shadow, the powder of the spirit pill was tightly attached to it. "Kid, I'm going to cut you into 8 pieces. At this moment, Elder Shur was on the verge of anger. He knew that there were only 2 ways to solve the crisis of the spirit pill. First, he could slowly use Yuan Qi and Soul Force to force it out of the golden core. This was obviously not a good idea because it would take at least a month. Second, he could completely abandon this golden core shadow. Elder Shur was very clear that once he abandoned the golden core shadow, his strength would drop by at least 80%. He would be far from being Ning Yu's opponent. Chapter 214. You old fart, you're living in a dream. At this moment, Ning Yu regained his composure and said indifferently, "You should know that what's attached to your illusory golden core is the fragments of the spectre pill, and it's the fragments of the 7th grade spectre pill. Once you use your Yuan Qi, the spectral pill will do more harm to the golden core. In the end, it will completely take over your golden core. I don't think you need me to tell you about the effects of the spectral pill, right? Even without the illusory golden core, I can still tear you into pieces." With a cold expression, Elder Shur leaped up from the ground and charged at Ning Yu without any regard for his life. "Since you want to die, then don't blame me." If Elder Stone was still at his peak, Ning Yu would naturally be afraid. However, Elder Stone only had 20% of his strength left. If Ning Yu wanted to kill him, it would be a piece of cake. Divine Malevolent Sword Wave. With the soul-breaking sword in hand, Ning Yu slashed out 2 waves of sword wave toward Elder Shur's face. Against Elder Shur, who only had 20% of his strength left, Ning Yu did not need to use his full strength. Just using the 3rd form of the Supreme Nine Qing Sword Wave, the Divine Malevolent Sword Wave, was enough. As expected, Elder Shur did not dare to use the golden core due to the power of the spectral pill. He only gathered the remaining Yuan Qi in his palm and faced the Divine Malevolent Sword Wave head-on. Poochie. Without the golden core, Elder Shur was no match for Ning Yu. As soon as his palm touched the Divine Malevolent Sword Wave, he felt a burning pain in his palm. Underworld dominating palm. In the next moment, Ning Yu's eyes lit up. His 4th grade soul force wrapped around his wrist and he sent out a palm print. Not good. The pain in his palm hadn't even disappeared when Elder Shur hurriedly raised his palm and punched towards the palm print. Ah! This time, not only did he feel a stabbing pain from his palm, but he also felt a tremor that came from the depths of his soul. The Netherworld Samsara Palm was a soul attack technique, and its might was extremely powerful. Even a half-step Yuan Dan stage martial artist would have to be extremely careful when facing it, not to mention Elder Shur who only had 20% of his strength left. "You are unlucky to have met me." Ning Yu raised his absolute soul sword, and the phantom armor appeared around his body. He wanted to kill Elder Shur quickly. Whoosh! Whoosh! However, before Ning Yu could move, 2 figures swiftly appeared in front of him. Looking at the 2 familiar figures in front of him, Ning Yu was slightly startled. He immediately asked, "You've dealt with the top 3 martial artists on the Death Arena list?" The Dark Emperor raised his proud head and said, "Of course, those 3 small fries are not on the same order of magnitude as us. Dealing with them is just a matter of minutes." Hong Mo clearly did not want to be on the same side as the Dark Emperor. He leaned towards Ning Yu and said, "The 3 of them have just advanced to the half-step Yuan Dan stage and are unable to control the illusory golden cores perfectly. Ning Yu, cut the crap. Let's work together and kill that old fart." The Dark Emperor licked his lips and said, "The illusory golden cores of those 3 small fries contained too little energy. It's not enough for us to eat. Now, we can have a feast." You devoured their illusory golden cores. Ning Yu was a little speechless. As expected of the sky-devouring hound, it devoured 3 illusory golden cores in the blink of an eye. Perhaps only the emperor of the sky-devouring hound clan could have such a stomach. Not to mention 3 illusory golden cores, the others would explode and die even if they devoured one. That old fart's illusory golden core is here. Suddenly, the Dark Emperor noticed Elder Shur's illusory golden core floating in the air. He hurriedly rushed towards it. Wait. How could Ning Yu allow the Dark Emperor to do as he pleased? He grabbed his tail and said in a deep voice, "You can't devour that illusory golden core." "Why not?" The Dark Emperor was puzzled. "If you don't want to die, go devour that illusory golden core." Before Ning Yu could say anything, Hong Mo beside him said indifferently, "If I'm not wrong, that illusory golden core has already been infected by the nether spirit pill. If you devour it, you will become a spectre corpse." Holy sh *t. Although the Dark Emperor wanted to devour the illusory golden core, he did not dare to devour an illusory golden core that was infected by the nether spirit pill. Become a spectre corpse. In an instant, the Dark Emperor raised his brows as though he had thought of something. "Ningyu, you said that the illusory golden core of that old fart was infected by the nether spirit pill? Why don't we use this opportunity to control him?" Swish. The Dark Emperor's words caused Ningyu's heart to skip a beat, and a hint of surprise surged into his heart. "That's right, why didn't I think of that?" Earlier on, the Dark Emperor and Hong Mo were not around, so he had no way of controlling Elder Shi. Now that the Dark Emperor and Hong Mo had returned, it would not be difficult for the three of them to work together to control Elder Shi. Attack. Ning Yu did things swiftly and decisively. He immediately rose from the ground and charged towards Elder Shi from the middle. Swish. Swish. The Dark Emperor and Hong Mo exchanged glances and blocked Elder Shi's path of retreat from the left and right. Run. When Ning Yu and the others attacked, Elder Shi realized that something was amiss and hurriedly stomped on the ground, retreating far away. However, after losing the illusory golden core, his speed dropped by 80% and Ning Yu and the others caught up to him in an instant. Bang! 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 Ning Yu and the Dark Emperor each threw a punch at Elder Shi's chest. As they had to control Elder Shi, Ning Yu and the others did not use their full strength. After controlling Elder Shi, they did not attack again. Dark Emperor, think of a way to get the illusory golden core over and insert it into this old fart's body. Ning Yu said in a deep voice. The Dark Emperor did not waste any time and immediately retreated. Using his powerful senses and the energy in his body, he slowly moved the illusory golden core over. Ah! Ning Yu's fist suddenly landed on Elder Shi's chest. Elder Shi's mouth instantly opened. The Dark Emperor seized the opportunity and forcefully inserted the illusory golden core into Elder Shi's mouth. "You will not well." After swallowing the illusory golden core, Elder Shi's eyes were filled with fear. Before he could finish his sentence, he fell to the ground with a thud. 3 minutes later, Elder Shi stood up from the ground with a swoosh. "Go." Seeing Elder Shi's appearance, Ning Yu forced out a drop of blood essence and inserted it into Elder Shi's body. Buzz buzz. Feeling the connection between him and Elder Shi, Ning Yu unnaturally raised the corner of his mouth and said, "Not bad, the nether spirit pill is indeed a heaven-defying pill. To think that it could control a peak half-step Yuan Dan martial artist so easily. Ning Yu, with this old fart, our strength will at least double." The Dark Emperor was also a little excited and quickly said, "I can't wait anymore. Let's quickly kill our way into the depths of the Mio forest and capture the people of the Corpse Yin sect in one fell swoop." Waving his hand, Ning Yu said, "No rush, there are still some people here that have not been dealt with." Saying that, Ning Yu slowly walked toward Wanzhong City. Chapter 215. Fart. Originally, Ning Yu thought Wanzhong was going to say something harsh, but after hearing Wanzhong's words, he couldn't help but laugh. Isn't this a little too ridiculous? A middle-stage true martial realm cultivator, the shopkeeper of Snow Domain Pavilion, actually said he wanted to commit suicide? Some people's world is really hard to understand. Shrugging, Ning Yu said, "If you want to commit suicide, I won't stop you. Hurry up and don't waste my time. Why are you talking nonsense with him? Just kill them." The Dark Emperor said impatiently. "What a pig brain." Hong Mo rolled his eyes at the Dark Emperor and said disdainfully, "If killing could solve the problem, Ning Yu would have already sent them to hell. This Wanzhong is colluding with the experts of Corpse Sect. Ning Yu wants to use him to lure more experts out." Nodding his head, Ning Yu said, "That's right. Dark Emperor, you should learn from Hong Mo. Sometimes, use your brain to solve problems, not your hands." No matter how smart your brain is, in the end, you still have to use your strength. The Dark Emperor coldly snorted. WN Zhongqing, answer a few questions for me. Ignoring the Dark Emperor, Ningyu said, first, who is the expert from Corpse Sect that contacted you? How strong is he? The one who contacted me is a genius from Corpse Sect's Ghost Palace. I heard he is ranked 8th in the Ghost Palace. WAN Zhongqing quickly said. I seem to have heard you say that you want to exchange for nether spirit pills with Corpse Sect. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu said, what do you plan to use to exchange? This, WN Zhongqing fell into deep thought. He obviously didn't want to say it. But thinking about how even someone as strong as Elder Shur was controlled by the nether spirit pills, WN Zhongqing gritted his teeth and said, Linglong fruit. This time, the Vice Pavilion Master gave us 4 Linglong fruits to exchange for 4 grade 7 nether spirit pills. Linglong fruit. Hearing this, Ningyu's expression changed, and he revealed an ecstatic expression. The Linglong fruit, a 7th grade fruit, was the best pill to expand the cyclone. If an ordinary martial artist swallowed the exquisite fruit, it was very likely that the cyclone would double in size. As the cyclone grew larger, its strength would naturally increase. The exquisite fruit had a price but no supply, and it was basically not circulated in the market. Take out the exquisite fruit. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said indifferently. The exquisite fruit is not with me. WN Zhongqing shook his head. It's not on you. Where is it? Ningyu was puzzled. It's on Wenyi. WN Chongcheng explained. Wenyi is the son of the Snowfield Pavilion's deputy pavilion lord. He is ranked 2500th on the True Martial Battle list and is in the late stage of the True Martial realm. Old Stone and I were the first to come to contact the people of the Corpse Sect. Young Master Wen will be here soon. WN Chongcheng continued. Young Master Wen is extremely powerful. A month ago, Elder Shur sparred with him, but the result was a draw. Hiss. A martial artist ranked 2500th on the True Martial Battle list is so powerful. Ningyu sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Originally, he thought that he could rank in the top 1000 of the True Martial Battle list, but now it seemed that the competition in the True Martial Battle list was very fierce. With his current strength, he estimated that he could rank around 2800th on the True Martial Battle list. After the shock, Ningyu was a little puzzled. Lu Wei was the daughter of the Snowfield Pavilion's pavilion lord, and her strength was only at the early Xiantian realm. How come the son of the deputy pavilion lord had already reached the late stage of the True Martial realm? Young Master Wen is already 35 years old this year. WAN Chongcheng continued, depending on the situation, Young Master Wen will soon come. If he doesn't see me and Old Stone at that time. 4 exquisite fruits, I must get them. Although the exquisite fruit was only effective for the first time, but the fertile water should not flow to outsiders. 4 exquisite fruits, 1 for himself, 1 for the Dark Emperor Red Devil, and the last one for Lu Wei. Once he got the exquisite fruit, Ningyu was confident that he could split his cyclone into 15, or even reach the limit of a Xiantian realm martial artist, 16. I have told you everything, can you let me go now? WAN Chongcheng cautiously asked. I never said that I would let you go. With a cold glint in his eyes, Ningyu rose from the ground and appeared in front of WN Chongcheng. The soul-breaking sword suddenly pierced the latter's chest. Puff. Withdrawing the soul-breaking sword, Ningyu lightly said, You must die, because you know too much. Plop. Until the last moment of his death, WN Chongcheng still had some doubts. How could a Xiantian complete realm martial artist be so strong? But these doubts, he could only think about them in the underworld. Voila! Ningyu killed WN Chongcheng in a domineering manner, causing a sensation in the surroundings. However, with the Dark Gold Spirit Corps watching, the surrounding True Martial Realm martial artists did not dare to speak loudly, they could only whisper. Devil, he really is a devil. Devil. Compared to young Master Wen, he should be considered good. He won't kill us too, right? It's hard to say. If we heard the conversation between him and WN Chongcheng, we might be buried here too. After killing WN Chongcheng, Ningyu stood at the same spot, his brows furrowed. Killing one person was easy, What was difficult was killing dozens of martial artists at once. Ningyu was not a saint, he would not let his enemies go. Although the surrounding martial artists did not pose a threat to him, they were in cahoots with Wan Chongcheng. If he allowed them to leave, he would only expose himself earlier. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu shouted, "Kill! I was waiting for you to say that." Just as Ningyu's voice fell, the Dark Emperor licked his lips, his figure flashed, and he rushed into the crowd. Shio! As for the Red Devil, he turned into a red flying sword, killing left and right in the crowd. Roar! The Dark Gold Spirit Corpse also roared and joined the battle. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. Ningyu's eyes turned cold, he waved the Absolute Soul Sword in his hand, and in a split second, several sword waves formed, blasting towards the crowd. Kai 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 kai. Although dozens of true martial realm martial artists were strong, against 4 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists, they could only swallow their grievances. After a quarter of an hour, the dozens of true martial realm martial artists that Wan Chongcheng brought were all killed by Ningyu and the rest, not a single one was spared. Not bad, not bad, there are actually 100,000 high-grade Yuan crystals. This won't do, the late-stage true martial realm martial artists have nothing on them. Hey! Not bad, another 100,000 high-grade Yuan crystals. After killing these martial artists, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil began to search their bodies. These martial artists were all in the true martial realm, they naturally had a lot of high-grade Yuan crystals on them. In just a few minutes, the Dark Emperor and the rest had already found 500,000 high-grade Yuan crystals. Not good, leave quickly. Just as the Dark Emperor was busy, Ningyu's expression changed, and he immediately put the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse and the Ghost Corpse into his storage ring, and rushed towards the depths of the Miin forest. Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil were slightly stunned, and immediately released their perception. F***CK, run. As soon as he released his soul power, the Dark Emperor's expression changed, and he didn't have time to continue searching, and quickly ran. This was because the Dark Emperor sensed that there were 2 figures rushing over. One of them was in the late stage of the true martial realm, and the other had reached a terrifying. Chapter 216. Rustle. Not long after Ningyu and the rest left, 2 figures appeared in the area. Swoosh. Seeing the corpses on the ground, the expression of one of the figures darkened. The other figure glanced at the corpses and said, "Young Master Wen, they were just killed." "I know." With a grave expression, the man called Young Master Wen said, "Old He, do you know who killed them?" Old He frowned and released his perception to check. A moment later, Old He said, "These martial artists were killed with a single strike. To be able to do this, their strength is at least at the half-step Yuan Dan stage, and Shui isn't here." Speaking up to this point, Old He paused for a moment before continuing, "Shui's strength is at the pinnacle amongst the half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists. If Shui didn't betray us, then the martial artist who made a move is at least in the Yuan Dan realm." Yuan Dan stage martial artist, frowning, when Yi said, "Old He, do you think it's the work of the Corpse Sect?" Corpse Sect. Old He was stunned for a moment before shaking his head. "It shouldn't be. They know that the Linglong fruits are with us, so killing Shui is meaningless. Let's go, the capital can't wait any longer and is in urgent need of spirit pills." After pondering for a moment, when Yi said, 4 Linglong fruits, we want to exchange them for 4 grade 7 spirit pills." As soon as the word pill fell, when Yi rose from the ground and his body turned into a blur as he charged into the depths of the forest. Behind him, Old He retracted his perception and followed. Swoosh. At the same time, when they were about to reach the end of the forest, Ningyu stopped. "Ningyu, what's going on?" Seeing Ningyu stop, the Dark Emperor asked in puzzlement. With a finger by his mouth, Ningyu pointed into the distance. Following the direction of Ningyu's finger, there was a cave not far away. The cave was not strange. What was strange was that there was a huge demonic beast lying at the entrance of the cave. To be more precise, that demonic beast was the enlarged version of the Dark Emperor, the Hell Dog. "Oh, it's your kind." Beside him, the Red Fiend laughed. "Red Skin, I won't treat you as a mute if you don't speak." The Dark Emperor was a little unhappy. He was a dignified heaven-swallowing dog clan, and how could the big fellow at the entrance of the cave compare to him? He was clearly a pug. Be careful, that's a hellhound. He's already reached the peak of Tier 4, and his strength is comparable to a half-step Origin Core Realm martial artist. Ning Yu said solemnly. Ning Yu did not expect to find a mountain at the end of the Miulan forest. Moreover, there was also a cave there. Moreover, there was even a peak Tier 4 hellhound guarding the entrance of the cave. From the looks of it, it was very likely that the experts of the Corpse Yin sect were hiding in the cave. Just the demonic beast at the entrance of the cave already had the strength of a half-step Yuan Dan stage martial artist. One could imagine how strong the Corpse sect martial artists inside the cave were. Although Ning Yu wanted to kill everyone from the Corpse sect, he knew that it would be very dangerous to just charge in like this. Suddenly, Ning Yu seemed to have thought of something and asked, "By the way, Dark Emperor, where did you find the Corpse Yin sect cultivators?" "Where?" Hearing this, the Dark Emperor was stunned for a moment. He immediately slapped his thigh and said, "If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten. We didn't find the Corpse Yin sect cultivators here. We still have to walk for about 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes. Ning Yu was a little dumbfounded. He had speculated for a long time, but in the end, it was very likely that the cultivators in the cave were not from the Corpse Yin sect. Rolling his eyes, Ning Yu said, "When you came last time, was the hellhound at the entrance of the cave?" "How would I know? At that time, I was busy looking for the Corpse Yin sect people and didn't pay attention." The Dark Emperor shrugged and said, "Ning Yu, I can feel that there is a very powerful energy in this cave." Hong Mo said with a frown. "Very powerful energy?" Ning Yu said, "Do you know what's inside?" Shaking his head, Hong Mo continued, "We have to go in to determine. However, there is one thing I am sure of. The last time I came here, there was no such energy inside." At the side, the Dark Emperor said, "What should we do? Should we go in?" After thinking for a moment, Ning Yu gritted his teeth and said, "Go in. You can't catch the wolf without risking the child." Ning Yu was very clear that if he waited until when Yi and the Corpse Yin sect people met up, it would be very disadvantageous for him. Besides, whether there were people from the Corpse Yin sect in the cave or not was another matter. If there weren't, wouldn't he have made a profit? Being indecisive was destined to not accomplish anything great. Swish, swish, swish. In the next moment, Ning Yu and the others turned into 3 afterimages and rushed toward the entrance of the cave. "Hey, big stupid dog. Why aren't you kneeling and greeting your grandpa Dark Emperor?" Arriving in front of the cave, the Dark Emperor's aura was released and suppressed the hellhound. Hiss. Feeling the aura of the Dark Emperor, the innate fear caused the hellhound to tremble. The Dark Emperor and the hellhound belonged to the canine family. To be precise, the hellhound was a distant relative of the heaven-devouring dog. The fear from the depths of its bloodline made it impossible for the hellhound to resist. Swish. Since the hellhound didn't resist, Ning Yu and the others didn't plan to provoke it. They immediately raised their speed to the limit and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Buzz. As soon as he entered the cave, Ning Yu's expression changed and he hurriedly spread out his perception. Because the cave was very dark, extremely dark. In such a dark environment, Ning Yu's eyes seemed to be blind. Furthermore, in this unknown place, Ning Yu didn't dare to burn his origin energy to illuminate, so he could only release his perception. "You two follow behind me. A mere darkness won't stop me." The Dark Emperor patted his chest and swaggered to the front. The Dark Emperor was a heaven-devouring dog, so his vision was very good. Although it was incomparably dark here, his eyes were shining brightly, and he could clearly see everything in front of him. "Dark Emperor, be careful." Walking behind the Dark Emperor, Ning Yu couldn't help but remind him. The Dark Emperor was reckless, so Ning Yu was really afraid that he would cause trouble. "Don't worry, I'll handle it." He revealed a relieved expression to Ning Yu, and then quickly walked into the cave. After walking for about 15 minutes, the Dark Emperor suddenly stopped. "So this is the Origin Crystal Mine." The Dark Emperor revealed a look of joy and said, "Let's go." Not good. However, before the Dark Emperor could finish his sentence, his expression changed drastically. All the hair on his body stood on end as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Swish, swish, swish. 3 cold lights shot out from the depths of the cave, and with an extremely shocking speed, they attacked Ningyu and the other 2. With his eyes focused, Ningyu immediately took out the absolute soul sword and slashed at the cold light. The Dark Emperor flapped his tail, and a strong wind swept out, colliding with the cold light. As for the Red Devil, he transformed into a red flying sword and clashed head-on with the cold light. Crash! After the cold light dissipated, the pitch-black cave was suddenly illuminated by rays of light. Chapter 217. 4 complete innate realm young martial artists, 2 half-step Yuandan realm elders, and the rest of the martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm. There were more than 10 of them. Behind them, there were 2 half-step Yuandan realm ghostly corpses. Even if a Yuandan realm martial artist met with such a lineup, they would have to avoid it. The 3 of them are not considered strong. Why didn't the Hell Dog stop them? A skinny martial artist frowned. Maybe the Hell Dog is not at the cave entrance. Another young martial artist shrugged and said casually, "Stop talking nonsense, hurry up and get to work. Take care of these small fries before when ye arrives." The complete innate realm martial artist at the front waved his hand and said, "For exquisite fruits, just nice for the 4 of us. If we wait for Luo Ping and Qi Jiang to arrive, they might ruin our plan." Luo Ping, Qi Jiang. Hearing this martial artist's words, the eyes of the other 3 complete innate realm martial artists narrowed, revealing a look of resentment. The 4 of them were called Su Xingyan, Hu Yang, Ni Jingzhong, and Hong Wei. They were ranked from 8th to 11th in the Ghost Talent Hall. The reason why they were resentful towards Qi Jiang and Luo Ping was because in the previous Ghost Talent Hall assessment, Qi Jiang and Luo Ping won by scheming. After winning, Qi Jiang and Luo Ping, who were weaker than the 4 of them, were ranked in front of them. In the Ghost Talent Hall, with every rank lower, the treatment would be much worse. If they could get the exquisite fruits this time, they had the confidence to fight for the top 5 in the next Ghost Talent Hall assessment. Hong Wei, go kill them. Su Xingyan was ranked 8th in the Ghost Talent Hall, and was the leader of the 4 brothers. No problem. Hong Wei was ranked 11th in the Ghost Talent Hall, and his strength was slightly weaker than the other 3 martial artists. Although his strength was weaker, it was comparable to Qi Jiang. Swoosh! Hong Wei's figure flickered as he dashed out. His palm carried a violent fluctuation of yuan qi as it blasted towards Ningyu. Facing Hong Wei's strong attack, Ningyu's eyes turned cold. The yuan qi in his sea of consciousness gathered on his wrist, and he pushed out. Pa! The next moment, Hong Wei's fist collided with Ningyu's palm. Palm and fist collided. It was clear that Ningyu had the upper hand. Feeling the immense force coming from his fist, Hong Wei's expression changed and he hurriedly increased the injection of essence. "You want to compete with me in terms of yuan qi density?" The corners of Ningyu's mouth curled up in response to Hong Wei's foolish actions. Immediately, the yuan in his sea of consciousness flowed into his wrist in an unending stream, forming a stalemate with Hong Wei. Ningyu had 13 cyclones. Among the Xiantian realm martial artists, he had never seen anyone with more vitality than him. Although Hong Wei was ranked 11th in the Ghost Talent Hall, he was still much weaker than Ningyu when it came to yuan qi. Poochie. A moment later, Ningyu seized the opportunity and struck out with his left hand. His left hand hit Hong Wei's chest without any deviation. Ningyu did not hold back at all. He used almost all his strength and sent Hong Wei flying far away, making contact with the stone wall. Hong Wei spat out fresh blood and his face turned pale. The paleness of his face was secondary. The main thing was that Hong Wei felt embarrassed. He was injured by a Xiantian realm martial artist in front of so many people. How was he going to establish himself in the future? This face, he must get it back. "I want you dead." Hong Wei gritted his teeth and stood up from the ground. He wanted to rush towards Ningyu again. Shua. However, before Hong Wei could move, Su Xingyan's figure rushed out and landed in front of Hong Wei. "Go back first. Let me deal with this kid." Su Xingyan waved his hand and turned to look at Ningyu. You are very strong. I finally know why you could enter the cave. It is because the hellhound at the entrance was not your match. Tell me why you entered the cave. At this moment, Su Xingyan was not in a hurry to kill Ningyu. He wanted to understand the situation. After all, with Ningyu's strength and his wisdom when facing Hong Wei, he would not barge into the cave for no reason. It's simple. Young master when asked me to come here. His heart skipped a beat. Since Su Xingyan and the others didn't know his purpose, Ningyu might as well talk nonsense. After all, bragging was free. Young master Wen, let me first confirm if your nether spirit pill is effective. How do you prove that you are Wen Yi's men? Su Xingyan was not stupid. He did not believe Ningyu's words. Shrugging, Ningyu said, if you don't believe me, there is nothing I can do. However, changing the topic, Ningyu continued, young master Wen said that if he is not sure that your spirit pill is effective, he will not take out the exquisite fruit. Exquisite fruit. Hearing the words exquisite fruit, Su Xingyan already believed Ningyu. After all, in this transaction, there were very few people who knew about the exquisite fruit. Wen Yi's group probably only had 3 or 4 people who knew about it. Since Ningyu could mention the exquisite fruit, it meant that he was most likely sent by young master Wen. After pondering for a while, Su Xingyan signaled the 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm elders with his eyes. The 2 elders understood and immediately controlled the 2 ghostly corpses to come before Ningyu. These 2 are the ghostly corpses that we controlled with the spirit pill. They were half-step Yuan Dan realm warriors when they were alive. We only spent 2 rank 7 spirit pill to control them. Pointing at the 2 ghostly corpses, Su Xingyan said, if your young master when obtained the rank 7 spirit pill, he could even control the current pavilion master of Snow Domain Pavilion. Pretending to touch the ghostly corpses, Ningyu nodded his head and said, not bad, the effect is not bad. I will inform young master Wen and ask him to come here immediately. As he said this, Ningyu took out a piece of white paper from his pocket. A blue flame danced on his fingertip as he lit the white paper. The 280th rank of the mystical flame ranking, Azure Spiritual Fire. Seeing the blue flame on Ningyu's fingertip, Su Xingyan's heart shuddered. He was even more convinced of Ningyu's identity. Ningyu's strength was not weaker than Hong Wei's. In addition to the fact that he could control the Azure Spiritual Fire, it was very likely that he was a genius of Snow Domain Pavilion. Birds of a feather flock together. For such a genius to be together with Wen Yi, it was only natural. Dan Yu, may I know your names? As the white paper burned, Ningyu walked forward and said with a smile. Dan Yu. You are the genius who made it to the 8th floor of the ivory tower. Hearing Ningyu's words, Su Xingyan was slightly startled, then he said in surprise. Hihi, what genius? I was just lucky. Ningyu laughed. Brother Dan Yu, don't be humble. To be able to make it to the 8th floor of the ivory tower, it is enough to prove your talent and strength. Su Xingyan completely let down his guard against Ningyu. They had heard the news of a genius making it to the 8th floor of the ivory tower. Moreover, there was a rumor that Dan Yu and Snow Domain Pavilion had an ambiguous relationship. It was very possible that he had already joined Snow Domain Pavilion. Moreover, Ningyu knew about the exquisite fruit. Su Xingyan could not find a reason to suspect Ningyu. My name is Su Xingyan. The one who was beaten back by you was Hong Wei. Chapter 218. The Hong Mo, the Dark Emperor, my 2 best assistants. After introducing the Dark Emperor and the Hong Mo, Ningyu asked, Brother Su, there seems to be a Yuan crystal mine in this cave, right? Su Xingyan nodded and said, there is indeed a Yuan crystal mine. Come, let's talk inside. As he spoke, Su Xingyan led the way into the depths of the cave. Without any hesitation, Ningyu and the rest followed closely behind. Since they had decided to put on a show, they had to do it well and not make any mistakes. Furthermore, Ningyu wanted to find a chance to get rid of Su Xingyan and the rest. They had to be careful and not reveal their true colors. Humph. Big brother, I will guard the entrance. Since he was defeated by Ningyu, Hong Wei felt embarrassed and immediately snorted before heading out of the cave. Brother Su, if it is not convenient, I think we should retreat to the entrance and come in with young Master Wen. Ningyu scratched his head awkwardly as he watched Hong Wei leave. There is no need. It is just a misunderstanding. Hong Wei will not take it to heart. Su Xingyan waved his hand and said, I will bring you to see what is special about this Yuan crystal mine. Oh, something special? I am looking forward to seeing it. Ningyu raised his eyebrows in surprise. Ha ha ha, you will know when we get there. Laughing, Su Xingyan quickened his pace. A moment later, the narrow cave suddenly opened up. Looking at the empty space in front of him, Ningyu frowned and said, This is the end of the cave. No, this is only the end of the first stage of the cave. Shaking his head, Su Xingyan walked up to a stone wall. Dense yuan qi appeared on his palm and he slammed it against the stone wall. Catcher! In the next moment, a hole appeared in the stone wall. Whoosh! The stone wall split open and a piercing cold light shot out from within. A high-grade yuan crystal mine. Ningyu's eyes widened in disbelief as he felt the powerful yuan qi that was contained within the cold light. Originally, he thought that inside the cave was a low-grade essence crystal mine, or at most a middle-grade essence crystal mine. Who would have thought that it was actually a high-grade essence crystal mine? In the Great Xia Kingdom, every time a high-grade essence crystal mine appeared, it would definitely become the focal point of the various sects. The high-grade origin crystal mine before him seemed to have been mined for a long time, so why didn't it attract the other powers to fight over it? We discovered this high-grade origin crystal mine a long time ago. There aren't many high-grade origin crystals stored inside, and we've almost mined them all out. Perhaps sensing Ningyu's confusion, Su Xingyan said, there should still be 20 million pieces of high-grade origin crystals inside. It will probably take another month for all of them to be extracted. A total of 40 million high-grade essence crystals. It's a medium-sized essence crystal mine, Ningyu muttered. Let's go in and take a look. Right at this moment, Su Xingyan pointed at the hole that had just been blasted open and said, the yuan qi contained within is extremely dense, and cultivating there will yield twice the results with half the effort. Ningyu didn't expect that Su Xingyan would invite him in. One had to know that such a high-grade origin crystal mine wouldn't normally allow outsiders to enter. What exactly was Su Xingyan selling in his gourd? Ningyu didn't know. Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. After thinking for a second, Ningyu said, I would like to see what the interior of a high-grade origin crystal mine looks like. Great. Straightforward indeed. Su Xingyan said to his left and right, you guys stay here temporarily. I will go in with Brother Dan Yu. Ningyu's heart shuddered as he became cautious in secret. Su Xingyan's behavior was rather abnormal, and there was definitely something fishy about it. Could it be that Su Xingyan discovered his true identity? Ningyu didn't dare to be 100% sure and could only be extremely careful. Once Su Xingyan made a move on him, he would retaliate immediately. Dark Emperor, you guys stay behind too. After musing for a second, Ningyu followed up. If it was just Su Xingyan alone, Ningyu wouldn't be afraid. After all, his current combat power was much stronger compared to when he fought with Qi Jiang. Facing Su Xingyan alone, Ningyu could even kill him. Buzz. Just entering the gap, Ningyu felt a surge of origin qi hitting him in the face. The density of origin qi is actually so high. As expected of the interior of a high-grade origin crystal mine, his eyes narrowed. Ningyu felt somewhat astonished. Compared to the outside of the cave, the density of origin qi here was at least 3 times that of outside. Haha, the origin qi here isn't considered dense yet. Inside is the true paradise. Su Xingyan smiled faintly and continued walking inside. While walking inside, Ningyu observed the surrounding situation. He discovered that even though the passageway got narrower and narrower, the high-grade origin crystals embedded on the stone walls on both sides of the passageway also increased. In the end, Ningyu even discovered supreme-grade origin crystals. It wasn't rare for a high-grade origin crystal mine to have supreme-grade origin crystals appear. But to have so many supreme-grade origin crystals appear was rather unusual. An ordinary high-grade origin crystal mine would at most have dozens of supreme-grade origin crystals. But now, Ningyu already discovered no less than 20 origin crystals embedded on the stone walls of the passageway. Could it be that there's an accompanying supreme-grade origin crystal mine inside? Suddenly, Ningyu seemed to have thought of something. His eyes revealed a shocked expression. Creak. Just at this time, Su Xingyan stopped in front of a stone room embedded with high-grade origin crystals. He opened the stone door and walked in. After releasing his soul perception and confirming that there weren't any hidden martial artists in the surroundings, Ningyu then carefully walked into the stone room. The stone room was as empty as the wilderness. There was nothing at all. Ningyu was taken aback and quickly said, "Brother Su, if there's anything you need, just say it. As long as I can help, I definitely won't decline." "Alright," with Brother Dan Yu's words, "I won't beat around the bush." Su Xingyan gave a thumbs up and said, "I want to ask you to help me kill 2 people. "Kill people? Who?" Ningyu asked. "Luo Ping, Qi Jiang," Su Xingyan said in a low voice. Swoosh. Hearing that, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. But he didn't show it on his face. Instead, he asked without batting an eyelid, "Who are they?" "Luo Ping is ranked 6th in the Ghost Talent Hall. Qi Jiang is ranked 7th in the Ghost Talent Hall," Su Xingyan explained. "I think you overestimate me. Genius fighters ranked 6th and 7th in the Ghost Talent Hall. How can I be their opponent?" Shaking his head, Ningyu said, "And I want to live a little longer. I don't want to die yet." "Hehe, Brother Dan Yu, you're exaggerating." Su Xingyan smiled. "Luo Ping and Qi Jiang's abilities aren't as high as they are in the Ghost Talent Hall. If I'm not wrong, their current abilities are only slightly stronger than Hong Wei. I saw your abilities just now. You easily defeated Hong Wei. So killing Luo Ping and Qi Jiang shouldn't be a problem for you." Chapter 219. Why me? Ningyu did not extend his hand to take the storage pouch from Su Xingyan's hand. Instead, he frowned and said, "You are much stronger than me. If you make a move, wouldn't it be easier for you to kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang? Plus, you don't even need to spend 1 high-grade origin crystal. It would be unrealistic for me to make a move." Su Xingyan said, "We are all from the Corpse Sect's Ghost Cai Palace. There is a clear rule that we cannot kill each other. Otherwise, the consequences will be unimaginable." After pondering for a while, Ningyu said, "I don't want to get involved in your business. If there is nothing else, I will go out and welcome young Master Wen." With that, Ningyu lifted his leg to leave. Whoosh. However, Su Xingyan's figure flashed and blocked his way. "Brother Su, what do you mean?" Ningyu's face was a bit gloomy. "You don't want me to go out?" "Hehe, Brother Dan Yu, don't think too much. I don't mean anything else." With a faint smile, Su Xingyan flicked his sleeve, and another storage bag appeared in his hand, 40 million upper-grade origin crystals. "As long as you can kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang, all these origin crystals are yours." Whoosh. With a flick of his wrist, Su Xingyan directly threw the storage bag to Ningyu. Pa. Catching the storage bag, Ningyu used his soul perception to check inside. His heart skipped a beat, thinking that this was a big deal. Inside the storage bag, there were 20 million high-grade origin crystals. A deposit of 20 million high-grade origin crystals. "After this, I will pay you the remaining 20 million high-grade origin crystals." Seeing Ningyu catch the storage bag, Su Xingyan said with a smile, "Men die for wealth, birds die for food. I will do this. With so many high-grade origin crystals, it would be a waste not to take them." Besides, Ningyu did not plan to stay here for long. He wanted to leave as soon as possible. Once when he came over and made contact with Su Xingyan, his identity would be exposed, and it would be too late to leave. However, at this moment, Ningyu didn't choose to leave immediately. Instead, he asked, "Brother Su, if I'm not wrong, there should be a top-grade origin crystal mine inside, right?" Nodding his head, Su Xingyan did not deny it. He said, "There is indeed a peak-grade origin crystal mine. However, the amount is rather small, only 1 million peak-grade origin crystals." Hiss. Ningyu drew a cold breath. 1 million pieces of top-grade essence crystals, when converted to high-grade essence crystals, was equivalent to a full 100 million pieces of high-grade essence crystal. These peak-grade essence crystals are almost finished. When Brother Dan Yu returns, I will give you some. Su Xingyan said with an unnatural evil smile. How can I find Luo Ping and Qi Jiang? Ning Yu asked. That's easy. I will ask Hu Yang and Ni Jingzhong to go with you. They will bring you to Luo Ping and Qi Jiang. Su Xingyan said. Ning Yu seemed a little impatient. He quickly said, there's no time to lose. Let's go now. I feel guilty taking your origin crystals without doing anything. I trust Brother Dan Yu's character. Even though he said that, Su Xingyan did not stop walking. Not long after, they left the origin crystal mine and arrived at where the Dark Emperor and the others were. Su Xingyan walked up to Hu Yang and Ni Jingzhong and whispered, you two go with Brother Dan Yu. Don't show yourselves. Let Brother Dan Yu handle it himself. Understood. Hu Yang and Ni Jingzhong answered in unison. Brother Dan Yu, according to reliable sources, they will arrive at the Mio Woods soon. Su Xingyan said, get ready and wait for them at the designated location. This way, we can save a lot of effort. No problem, but... Ning Yu's mouth opened, but he stopped. Brother Dan Yu, why don't you say it? Su Xingyan said. It's like this. I don't want young master Wen to know about this. Ning Yu looked troubled. 40 million origin crystals is too much for me. Su Xingyan gave Ning Yu a knowing look and patted his chest. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone. That's good. I hope Brother Su won't tell young master Wen about my early arrival. Ning Yu's reaction was a little exaggerated. He let out a long breath and said, Brother Su, just don't say a word about it. Ha ha ha. Ning Yu and Su Xingyan looked at each other and smiled. They did not stay for long. Ning Yu, Hu Yang, and the others left the cave through another exit. A strange smile appeared on Su Xingyan's face as he watched Ning Yu and the others leave. You're still too young. You want to get origin crystals from me? Ha ha. Su Xingyan laughed and waved his hand. Let's wait at the entrance. When you should be here soon. Hu Yang, do you think that kid can kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang? In the Mulan forest, 5 figures were sprinting at high speed. Ni Jingzhong looked back at Ning Yu and said worriedly, I heard Luo Ping had a fortuitous encounter and his strength has improved. Plus, Qi Jiang has mastered the Death Soul's vortex. He's not weak. Since Dan Yu dared to accept this mission, it means he has the confidence to kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang. Hu Yang waved his hand and said, there's only one thing we need to do. After Luo Ping and Qi Jiang are dead, we'll get rid of Dan Yu. Don't be careless. Dan Yu defeated Hong Wei in one move. He might be as strong as us. Ni Jingzhong reminded. Ha, Hong Wei? Among the 4 of us, he's the weakest. Hu Yang smiled and said, you and I can easily defeat him in one move. If not for the law enforcers, we can easily kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang without Dan Yu's help. Hu Yang continued with a vicious expression. As for Dan Yu, he's just a scapegoat. Once he kills Luo Ping and Qi Jiang, it'll be his end. Is that so? As soon as Hu Yang finished speaking, a voice rang in his ears. Hu Yang's heart skipped a beat and he quickly turned around. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Behind him, 3 figures sped over. It was Ning Yu, the Dark Emperor, and the Hong Mo. Surrounding Hu Yang and Ni Jingzhong, Ning Yu shrugged and said, I knew you're up to no good. Let's see if you're capable of sending me to hell. You. The sudden change caused Hu Yang and Ni Jingzhong's expressions to instantly darken. They did not expect their conversation to be overheard by Ning Yu. For a moment, their expressions turned ugly as they said in a deep voice, I initially wanted to let you live a little longer. Since your ears are cheap and you've heard something you shouldn't have, I can only send you to hell, noisy. Before Hu Yang finished speaking, the Dark Emperor's eyes turned cold. He suddenly enlarged and swept his tail at Hu Yang. Swoosh. Chapter 220. Boom. The Dark Emperor had a great hatred for the corpse sect. Once he attacked, he used a killing move. After transforming into his true form, The Dark Emperor's body expanded by several times. All the hair on his body stood up, and he instantly appeared beside Hu Yang. His tail carried a strong gust of wind and swept towards Hu Yang's neck like an iron whip. Heaven-devouring dog. Feeling the powerful aura coming from the Dark Emperor, Hu Yang's expression changed drastically. Death Spirit Hand. At the critical moment, Hu Yang quickly formed a seal with his hand. His fingers bent and he instantly grabbed the Dark Emperor's tail. Bang! In the next moment, a crisp sound rang out. Hu Yang felt an explosive pain in his palm and immediately retreated. How could the Dark Emperor give him the chance to escape? After the attack, a pair of purple gold wings appeared on the Dark Emperor's back. His speed increased drastically and he blocked Hu Yang's path of retreat. Purple gold heaven-devouring dog. You are the Emperor of the heaven-devouring dog clan. If knowing that the Dark Emperor was a heaven-devouring dog had already shocked Hu Yang, then knowing that the Dark Emperor was a purple gold heaven-devouring dog, the shock on Hu Yang's face was even more intense. Don't you think it's a little too late to find out now? The corner of his mouth curled up. The Dark Emperor's speed did not decrease. He flapped his purple gold wings and arrived in front of Hu Yang in the blink of an eye. Voila! The purple gold wings on his back quickly flapped, and in an instant, two huge gusts of wind shot out and landed on Hu Yang's chest. Fart! After being hit by the two powerful gusts of wind, Hu Yang felt a sweetness in his throat and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was pushed back several meters before he could stabilize himself. Looks like Hu Yang is no match for the Dark Emperor. It's only a matter of time before he loses. Ning Yu was quite confident in the Dark Emperor's strength. After transforming into his true form, the Dark Emperor's strength had at least doubled. It would not be difficult for him to defeat Hu Yang. Of course, the prerequisite was that Hu Yang did not have any abnormal trump cards. Otherwise, the Dark Emperor would not have a good ending. Ni Jingzhong is not weak. It will be difficult for the Red Devil to defeat him. The Dark Emperor was no longer worried, so Ning Yu turned his gaze to the Red Devil's battlefield. The Red Devil was a spirit body. Although he was strong, he was restricted and could not use some of his trump cards. Ni Jingzhong was not weaker than Qi Jiang, and was even slightly stronger than Qi Jiang. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. Because he was worried that Ni Jingzhong had a trump card like the Necromancy Vortex, Ning Yu did not hesitate and immediately brandished the Absolute Soul Sword, slashing out 3 sword waves in succession. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 consecutive innate fiendish sword ripples formed and approached Ni Jingzhong from 3 different directions. Hong Mo, come back! With a low roar, Ning Yu swung the soul-severing sword in his hand again. In an instant, an even more powerful sword ripple was formed and blasted towards Ni Jingzhong's head at a terrifying speed. 9 Purities Sword Wave. At this moment, Ning Yu unleashed his trump card, the 4th stance of the 9 Clear Sword Ripple, 9 Clear Sword Ripple. Ni Jingzhong's expression changed drastically when he sensed the 4 sword ripples coming at him. He did not have time to think and immediately chose to flee. Ni Jingzhong knew that just the Red Devil alone was enough to make him suffer, not to mention the even more powerful Ning Yu. Moreover, each of the 4 sword ripples that Ning Yu slashed out was stronger than the last, and the might of the last sword ripple even caused him to feel slightly terrified. Where there's life, there's hope. Ni Jingzhong had this thought in his mind. However, he had clearly underestimated the speed of the 4 sword ripples. The moment he moved, the 4 sword ripples had already arrived in front of him and slashed towards his neck. Oh no! Fart! 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 Ni Jingzhong's eyes narrowed as he raised his head to look at the sword ripples that were approaching him. He quickly turned his head to the side. As he turned his head to the side in time, the 4 sword ripples did not hit Ni Jingzhong's head but his chest instead. The immense pain from his chest caused Ni Jingzhong to spit out 4 mouthfuls of blood consecutively as his body fell heavily to the ground. Don't want. Ni Jingzhong was just about to stand up when he realized that a small red sword was expanding in front of his eyes. In the end, it pierced between his eyebrows. It was a fatal blow. It was impossible for the Red Devil to give Ni Jingzhong a chance to escape. After Ning Yu succeeded, he turned into a flying sword and gave Ni Jingzhong a fatal blow. Go help the Dark Emperor. Just as he killed Ni Jingzhong, Ningyu turned into an afterimage and joined the Dark Emperor's battlefield. This was because Ningyu discovered that Hu Yang had actually broken through during the battle and advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm. Ningyu knew that for a genius like Hu Yang, every small increase in rank would greatly enhance his strength, not to mention forcibly increasing his rank by a large rank. After advancing to the early stage of the true martial realm, the Dark Emperor was no longer Hu Yang's match and was at a disadvantage in every aspect. Humph. Purple gold sky devouring dog, I didn't want to advance to the true martial realm so early, but you forced me. With a cold snort, Hu Yang said sinisterly, in order to repay you, I've decided to eat dog meat tonight. Buzz buzz. As his voice fell, Hu Yang grabbed at the air with both of his hands. Immediately, a wave of Yuan Qi light appeared in his hands and was thrown towards the Dark Emperor. The speed of the Yuan Qi light wave was extremely fast, so fast that it could not be seen with the naked eye. Swallow it. Facing the Yuan Qi light wave that was constantly attacking him, the Dark Emperor's expression was extremely gloomy. He opened his mouth wide, and a powerful suction force rushed out from his mouth, swallowing the Yuan Qi light wave in front of everyone. As expected of a heaven-devouring dog, but if you can swallow a wave of light, I don't believe that you can swallow 10 or 100 of them. The Dark Emperor's actions caused Hu Yang to be somewhat moved. His hands were trembling at a strange frequency. Not long after, dozens of essence Qi light waves were formed and rushed toward the Dark Sovereign. Holy shit, run! The Dark Emperor was not a fool, so he naturally would not take on these energy waves head-on. He had not digested the energy wave that he had just swallowed, and his chest was still aching. If he swallowed dozens of problematic energy waves, it was very likely that his body would explode and he would die. Dark Tyrant Palm, Red Devil Sword Qi. However, just as the Dark Emperor was about to escape, 2 consecutive powerful attacks appeared in front of him, blocking dozens of energy waves for him. Seeing that his powerful attack was blocked, Hu Yang raised his eyebrows and looked to the other side. However, when he saw Ni Jingzhong lying on the ground, a terrifying light burst out from his eyes. All the veins on his body bulged as Hu Yang said coldly, "Today, all of you will die." The origin energy in his sea of consciousness churned, and a hint of coldness appeared in Ningyu's eyes. He had never expected that Hu Yang would break through to the early stage of the true martial realm during the battle. His thoughts were very simple. When he left the cave, he would find an opportunity to kill Hu Yang and Ni Jingzhong. Although Ni Jingzhong was killed, Hu Yang had broken through to the early stage of the true martial realm. It could be said that even if Ningyu and the other 2 joined forces, they might not be able to kill Hu Yang, who was at the early stage of the true martial realm. Chapter 221. The half-step origin core realm Spectre Corpse was Ningyu's trump card. He would not use it unless it was absolutely necessary. If Hu Yang had not advanced to the true martial realm, Ningyu would not have taken out the Spectre Corpse no matter what. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. Since he had decided to take out the Spectre Corpse, Ningyu simply took out the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse as well. Swoosh. Swoosh. With a flick of his wrist, 2 storage pouches filled with millions of high-grade origin crystals appeared in Ningyu's hands. He then forcefully inserted them into the brains of the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse and the Spectre Corpse. Every time the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse and the Spectre Corpse were used, they consumed a large amount of energy. If Ningyu had not obtained 20 million high-grade origin crystals from Su Xingyan, taking out 2 million at once would have been painful for a long time. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, Spectre Corpse, I'm afraid no one will believe you if you say you're not from the Corpse sect. Watching Ningyu insert the high-grade origin crystals into the brains of the 2 corpses, Hu Yang did not stop him. Instead, he said with interest, "Now I'm somewhat looking forward to finding out your true identity. My true identity is not something you deserve to know." The moment the word Dao fell, the origin Qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness gushed out and gathered on the soul-breaking sword. Whoosh! The phantom armor appeared on his body and Ningyu raised his speed to the limit. Wherever he passed, the soul-breaking sword even cut the air in half. Insignificant skill. Facing such a powerful attack from Ningyu, Hu Yang did not take it seriously at all. Instead, He casually threw out a palm strike that collided with the soul-breaking sword. Kai. Hu Yang's palm strike contained extremely violent origin chi fluctuations. It exploded almost at the instant of contact with the soul-breaking sword. The powerful aftermath caused Ning Yu's pupils to shrink. If it was not for his speed, he would have been bombarded by the aftermath. I can't face it head-on. In just a short moment of exchange, Ning Yu had already determined Hu Yang's true strength. It was infinitely close to the origin core realm. Although there was still a gap from the origin core realm, it was not much. Roar. Roar. In the next moment, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse and the Spectre Corpse roared and attacked Hu Yang from two different directions. Courting death. After forcing Ning Yu back with a single strike, the coldness in Hu Yang's eyes intensified. Instead of retreating, he advanced, punching the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse with his right fist and the Spirit Corpse with his left. Bang! Hu Yang, who was in the early stage of the true martial realm, was really not just for show. Just as his right fist came in contact with the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse was like a kite with a broken string, and was blasted several jong away. Hee, a mere half-step origin core stage Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, what can it do to me? After forcing back the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, the corners of Hu Yang's mouth curled up, and he was just about to ridicule when his pupils constricted. That was because the ghost corpse's body actually erupted with a huge suction force, sucking in his left fist. A good chance. Dark Emperor, Red Devil, attack with all your might. The sudden change caused Ning Yu to be overjoyed, and he hurriedly swung the severing soul sword to repeatedly slash out a few 9 clarity sword ripples. Furthermore, his peak 4th grade soul force coiled around his palm, and he executed the Dark Dominator palm without any regard for his life. As for the Dark Emperor and Red Devil, they both displayed their own trump cards. At this moment, numerous powerful attacks blasted towards Hu Yang from different directions. Damn it! Damn it! All of you must die today. At the critical moment, a powerful energy suddenly erupted from Hu Yang's body, rushing out from his left hand and blasting the ghost corpse several jong away. After blasting the ghost corpse away, Hu Yang flicked his sleeve, and a transparent white crystal ball instantly appeared in his hand. Pushing the white crystal ball forward, Hu Yang shouted in a low voice, "Explode!" Rumble. As Hu Yang's low cry rang out, an earth-shattering explosion resounded throughout this region. Swish. Subsequently, Hu Yang forcefully swallowed the sweet blood in his throat and ran. Chase. No matter what, we can't let him escape. With an extremely gloomy expression, Ning Yu didn't even hesitate to burn his soul force to chase after Hu Yang. Hu Yang was running towards the cave. If he was allowed to escape, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, even if he had to pay a painful price, Ning Yu had to kill Hu Yang. What's going on? At the same time, at the entrance of the cave, Su Xingyan could not help but furrow his brows when he heard the loud explosion. There should be people fighting. A man in his 30s beside Su Xingyan frowned and said, "From the explosion, we can determine that the people fighting are not weak. They should have the strength of a half-step Yuan Dan. Hehe, Brother Wen, let's go in and talk. As for who is fighting, it has nothing to do with us." Su Xingyan smiled and said. Actually, in Su Xingyan's heart, he could already determine that Hu Yang and the rest had made a move. However, Su Xingyan was a little doubtful. Was Ning Yu really that strong? In such a short period of time, he had gotten rid of Luo Ping and Qi Jiang. Because he had told Hu Yang that he could only wait for Ning Yu to kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang before making his move. He must not expose his intentions. After all, Ning Yu was Wen Yi's man. Letting Wen Yi know that he was plotting against his men was not a joke. At least, before he advanced to the true martial realm, he was definitely not Wen Yi's opponent. All right, I have already prepared the exquisite fruit. As long as you have the nether spirit pill, we can trade at any time. Wen Yi nodded his head and walked into the cave. After pondering for a moment, Su Xingyan was still a little worried. He gave Hong Wei a meaningful glance and immediately entered the cave. Hong Wei understood and did not follow them into the cave. Instead, he brought along a dozen peak true martial realm martial artists and changed their direction, flying towards the direction of the explosion. Poochie. Inside the hidden forest, Hu Yang was surrounded by Ningyu and the rest. Although Hu Yang was strong and had advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, advancing to the early stage of the true martial realm had harmed him. Because he had advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm in a hurry, Hu Yang did not have the time to stabilize his cultivation, causing the true qi in his body to be more impetuous. The impetuous true qi, coupled with Hu Yang's impatience to return to the cave, caused the anxiety to attack his heart, causing his speed to slow down. Hu Yang's speed had slowed down, but Ningyu and the rest did not slow down at all. After running for more than 10 minutes, Hu Yang was caught up. Looking at the three figures surrounding him, Hu Yang's complexion instantly sank to the bottom of the valley. If he was still in his peak state, he naturally would not be afraid to deal with Ningyu and the rest, but now he was no longer in his peak state. His strength was only half of his peak state. With this state and strength, it was impossible for him to win. I hope Su Xingyan can come and save me as soon as possible. Hu Yang knew that if he wanted to live, there was only one possibility, and that was for Su Xingyan to come and save him. He knew that the explosion of the white crystal ball had definitely attracted Su Xingyan's attention. Go. It was impossible for Ningyu to give Hu Yang a chance. He let out a low shout, and immediately a blue flame appeared on his fingertips. His palm brought along a berserk true qi wind, and ruthlessly smashed towards Hu Yang's chest. Poochie. How could Hu Yang, whose strength had been reduced by half, block such a powerful blow from Ningyu? In the next moment, Ningyu's fist gradually expanded in Hu Yang's pupils, and finally, without any deviation, smashed onto Hu Yang's face. The huge force that came from his face caused Hu Yang to spit out a mouthful of dark red blood, and his complexion became somewhat pale. Die. Not good. However, just as Ningyu gathered true qi on his palm, wanting to kill Hu Yang with one blow, his complexion changed. He hurriedly retreated a few steps, and stood side by side with the Dark Emperor Red Devil. Hualala. Chapter 222. Hu Yang. At the front of the group was a young man in his 20s, with a cultivation of Xiantian full cycle. Hong Wei. This young man in Xiantian full cycle was none other than Hong Wei, who had lost to Ningyu in a single move in the cave. Seeing Hu Yang in the middle, Hong Wei shouted, "What the hell is going on? Hong Wei, where's Su Xingyan? Why isn't he here? Why isn't he here?" The moment he saw Hong Wei and the others, Hu Yang was happy, because he thought he could be saved. However, after his eyes swept across the crowd, Hu Yang's heart sank, because he did not see Su Xingyan in the crowd, only Hong Wei and a dozen martial artists at the peak of true martial realm. To deal with them, what use would Hong Wei be? Hu Yang, have you lost your mind? Su Xingyan is trading with Wen Yi. Why did you call him here? Hong Wei clearly did not understand the situation. He was a little dazed and doubtfully asked. Hihi, let me tell you the reason. With a slight smile, Ningyu took a step forward and said, if Su Xingyan does not come, you will all die today. All die? With his eyes wide open, Hong Wei stared at Ningyu and said, Hu Yang has lost his mind. Are you also crazy? You want to kill us? No. Suddenly, Hong Wei seemed to have thought of something. He quickly turned his eyes to Hu Yang. True martial realm, early stage? Feeling the powerful aura coming from Hu Yang, Hong Wei's face became extremely ugly. The four of them had discussed before, no one could advance to true martial realm early. They had to eat the exquisite fruit together, expand the cyclone, and then advance to true martial realm. Why did Hu Yang advance to true martial realm early? There must be something fishy about this. In addition, Hong Wei did not see Ni Jingzhong here. He seemed to instantly understand, his heart sinking together with Hu Yang. Dan Yu, you killed Ni Jingzhong. With a gloomy face, Hong Wei shouted in a deep voice. Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu declined to comment and said indifferently, I have a few questions to ask you. If you answer them honestly, I can consider leaving your corpse intact. Want to kill me? It won't be that easy. With a cold snort, Hong Wei immediately turned his head and rushed in the direction of the cave. At the same time, more than a dozen other martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm also ran away. Hong Wei, you will die a horrible death. Hu Yang's expression changed greatly when he saw that Hong Wei had given up on him, and he roared furiously. Kai. However, just as Hu Yang's voice faded, he saw Ning Yu standing in front of him with an emotionless expression. Lowering his head to look at the flying sword at his heart, Hu Yang opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but with a plop, he fell to the ground. At this moment, Hu Yang, who had just advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, was killed by Ning Yu with a single sword strike. Chase them. Leave no one alive. After killing Hu Yang with a single strike, Ning Yu didn't stop at all. His figure flashed as he chased after Hong Wei. The Dark Emperor and the Red Devil were not idle either. Instead, they chased after the other dozen or so martial artists at the peak of true martial realm. Compared to Hu Yang, Hong Wei was much weaker in both strength and speed. In just a moment, Ning Yu caught up to him. Dan Yu, aren't you afraid of the corpse sect's revenge? Since Ning Yu had caught up to him, Hong Wei simply stopped. He planned to stabilize Ning Yu first before waiting for an opportunity to escape. Thank you for your reminder. As long as no one is left alive, the corpse sect won't be able to find me, Ning Yu said indifferently. Ni Jingzhong and Hu Yang are already on their way. Now, you're the only one left. By the way, Luo Ping and Qi Jiang have also been killed. After thinking for a moment, Ning Yu continued, you don't have to worry about being lonely after death. Swoosh. In the next instant, Ning Yu rose from the ground, and the Absolute Soul sword in his hand slashed at Hong Wei's neck. Although Hong Wei was weaker than Hu Yang, that was relative. In fact, Hong Wei's strength was comparable to Qi Jiang's. However, it was comparable to Qi Jiang without the Death Soul Vortex. Once Qi Jiang used the Death Soul Vortex, Hong Wei would only be killed. Dark Tyrant Palm. Just as the Absolute Soul Sword was about to pierce Hong Wei, Ning Yu's left hand formed a seal and in an instant, a tangible palm print blasted toward Hong Wei's abdomen from the side. Facing two powerful attacks in a row, Hong Wei lost his composure for a moment and ignored his tail. In the blink of an eye, Hong Wei chose to block the Absolute Soul Sword. After all, the violent Yuan Qi fluctuation on the Absolute Soul Sword made his heart tremble. Pa. After blocking the Absolute Soul Sword, Hong Wei was naturally hit by the Dark Tyrant Palm. The huge pain from his abdomen almost made Hong Wei grimace. I thought your palm was very powerful, so it turned out to be a silver spear wax head. Impressive, but it didn't hit. Poochie. Being hit in the abdomen only caused pain to Hong Wei. He didn't feel a fatal threat. However, just as the mocking words reached his mouth, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. A trembling feeling came from the depths of his soul, causing Hong Wei's face to distort and beads of sweat to appear on his forehead. Soul Attack Palm Print. This palm of yours is a Soul Attack Palm Print. Hong Wei finally understood. It turned out that Ning Yu wasn't a silver spear wax head, but a real talent. It's too late to realize it now. As his voice fell, Ning Yu's eyes turned cold. The phantom armor appeared on his body and he dashed forward again. This time, Ning Yu didn't hold back. The Absolute Soul Sword accurately stabbed into Hong Wei's heart. Just like when he killed Hu Yang, the same sword stabbed into the heart and killed him in one blow. After killing Hong Wei, Ning Yu didn't have time to search his body. He immediately changed his direction and chased after the other peak true martial realm martial artists. Kai. In the hidden forest, more than a dozen peak true martial realm corpse sect experts fled like frightened birds. Behind them, the Dark Emperor, the Red Devil, and Ning Yu were like death reapers from hell. Every time they made a move, a peak true martial realm corpse sect martial artist would die. Kai. A peak true martial realm martial artist might be a powerful force in the Great Xia Kingdom, but in the hands of Ning Yu and the Dark Emperor, their strength was still lacking. It had to be known that the combat strength of Ning Yu and the others was already comparable to a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, Ghost Corpse. Because he was afraid that these peak true martial realm corpse sect martial artists would escape, Ning Yu had no choice but to summon the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse and Ghost Corpse. Ning Yu divided the more than 900,000 high-grade yuan crystals he had on him into two portions and stuffed them into the brains of the two corpses to provide them with enough power. With the addition of the two corpses, It didn't take long for the peak true martial realm corps sect martial artists to be completely annihilated. After successfully killing these martial artists, the Dark Emperor lay on the ground with his tongue hanging out, gasping for breath. I'm so tired. These bastards can really run. If it wasn't for my strength, I'm afraid a few of them would have escaped. While devouring the high-grade yuan crystals, the Dark Emperor didn't forget to praise himself. Dark Emperor, we can't rest here. Chapter 223. What's there to be afraid of? With me around, even if that Su Xingyan or when he comes, there's no need to be afraid. The Dark Emperor waved his hand arrogantly. If one comes, I'll fight one. If two come, I'll fight a pair. Rolling his eyes, Ningyu said in disdain, forget it. Hong Mo and I will leave first. If you don't leave, don't blame me if Su Xingyan and the others kill you. Swoosh. Swoosh. Saying so, Ningyu and Hong Mo flashed and flew into the distance. Humph. With me around, they won't dare to come. The Dark Emperor snorted and said in high spirits. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a strong gust of wind blew past, causing his hair to stand on end. Hiss. Shivering uncontrollably, the Dark Emperor rose from the ground and chased after Ningyu and Hongmo. Wait for me. You can't be so disloyal. In the Mio woods, 3 figures were sprinting. After flying at full speed for 15 minutes, Ningyu and the others finally stopped at the edge of the Mio woods. Dark Emperor, check if this place is safe. In this place, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. He quickly released his soul perception to check the surroundings. What danger can there be? I'm not doing it, I want to rest. Twitching his lips, the Dark Emperor sprawled on the ground lazily, clearly still angry at Ningyu for leaving without saying goodbye. Using his soul power, Ningyu took out a storage bag from his storage ring and said, "There are 5 million high-grade origin crystals in here. I was planning to give it to someone for cultivation, but it seems like there's no need." Swoosh. Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor leaped up and snatched the storage bag away. Why didn't you take out the high-grade origin crystals earlier? With these 5 million high-grade origin crystals, I can even make a breakthrough to the half-step origin core realm. The Dark Emperor grabbed the storage bag tightly and grumbled. Half-step origin core realm. Ignoring the complaints of the Dark Emperor, Ningyu's eyes widened as he asked, "Can you really reach half-step primal core realm?" Raising his head, the Dark Emperor said proudly, "I forgot to tell you, the heaven-devouring hound clan has a unique trait, and that is ton. As long as you have sufficient energy, even if you advance to the origin core realm, there's nothing strange about it." How many high-grade essence crystals are needed to advance to the Yuandan stage? Ningyu asked in a deep voice. The Dark Emperor was taken aback for a moment before realizing that he had gone overboard with his bragging, and he felt a little awkward. The heaven-devouring hound race did indeed have the ability to devour all things, but that was only after they had awakened their bloodline. For example, a heaven-devouring hound like the Dark Emperor, who had yet to awaken his bloodline, could only advance a small level by relying on devouring alone. It was basically impossible for him to advance 2 levels consecutively, which was also to say that no matter how many essence crystals were given to the Dark Emperor now, it was impossible for him to advance to the Yuandan realm. Advancing from the half-step Yuandan stage to the Yuandan stage required a buffer period. Ningyu, can you give me 5 million high-grade essence crystals? At the side, the Red Devil gritted his teeth and said, "You also want 5 million high-grade essence crystals?" Ningyu was taken aback and asked doubtfully, "You are a spirit body, why do you need high-grade essence crystals?" The increase in the strength of a spirit body mainly depended on the level of the body. As long as the level of the body increased, the strength of the spirit body would naturally become stronger. Ningyu had never heard of a spirit body devouring essence crystals before. Could it be that the Red Devil was a special one? "I don't want high-grade essence crystals to devour." Shaking his head, the Red Devil said, "With 5 million high-grade essence crystals, I can open up a small gap in the 7-star formation and obtain some contact with the main body." "Are you sure that 5 million high-grade essence crystals can open up a gap in the 7-star formation?" Frowning slightly, Ningyu said solemnly, Opening up a gap in the 7-star formation? This was no laughing matter. The slightest carelessness would trigger the killing formation in the 7-star formation, and all would be for naught. Don't worry, I have been trapped in the pendant for so many years, and I have already figured out some of the tricks of the 7-star formation. The Red Devil seemed to have made a great decision, and said, as long as you give me 5 million high-grade essence crystals, regardless of whether I can open up a gap in the 7-star formation this time, I will remember your kindness. Remember my ass. Ningyu was somewhat speechless. As long as the attack on the 7-star formation failed, the Red Devil would definitely be destroyed along with the main body inside. At that time, what use would it be for him to remember his kindness? This is an opportunity, I want to give it a try. The Red Devil's expression was solemn as he said solemnly. Looking at the Red Devil, Ningyu seemed to see himself in his previous life. Once he made up his mind, he would never look back. Regardless of whether it was a flat ground or a bumpy road, he would charge forward courageously. Even if he failed in the end, he would not regret it. At least he would not let down the faith in his heart. I will give you 10 million high-grade essence crystals. After thinking about it, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and threw a storage bag to the Red Devil. Inside the storage bag, there were 10 million high-grade essence crystals. Swoosh. At the same time, Ningyu took out the semicircular blue pendant and let it float above his head. Looking at the blue pendant, the Red Devil said, when I attack the 7-star formation later, it might cause a huge impact. Enter the storage ring. Since he had decided to help the Red Devil, Ningyu went all out. With a thought, he kept the blue pendant into the storage ring. Swoosh. Without hesitation, the Red Devil turned into a red afterimage and followed the pendant into the storage ring. Dark Emperor, hurry up and check if there is anyone in the surroundings. After the Red Devil disappeared, Ningyu kicked the Dark Emperor's butt and said angrily, otherwise, return me the 5 million high-grade essence crystals. Swish. The Dark Emperor jumped up, and while releasing his perception, he muttered, didn't I just take your 5 million high-grade essence crystals? What's so great about it? After a while, the Dark Emperor patted his chest and said, don't worry, there is not a single person within a radius of more than 10 kilometers, it is absolutely safe here. Furthermore, I left behind some perception, even if a bird were to approach here, I would be able to sense it. If there's nothing else, don't call me. I want to cultivate properly. Saying that, the Dark Emperor found a huge tree, hollowed it out and entered. Shaking his head helplessly, Ningyu also sat down cross-legged and took out the remaining 5 million high-grade essence crystals. I have to raise my strength as soon as possible. Ningyu was very clear about the current situation. Su Xingyan already knew his identity, so Su Xingyan had to die. And Su Xingyan was very strong. At the very least, the current Ningyu was not his match. With 5 million high-grade essence crystals, although he would not be able to break through to the true martial realm in a short period of time, Ningyu was confident that he could split the cyclone again. Right now, I have 13 cyclones. If I can break through to 15 cyclones, my strength will increase further. Before obtaining the exquisite fruit, Ningyu did not expect to be able to split the cyclones into 16, but he was determined to obtain 15 cyclone. If the cyclones were to split into 15, the amount of essence in his cyclones would increase further, and he would even be able to cultivate the 5th form of the Supreme 9 Purities sword art. Chapter 224. Spirit Transformation Technique. Although Ningyu wanted to split the cyclones into 15 as soon as possible, he knew very well that he had to reach the 4th stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique before that. Ever since he split the cyclones into 13, Ningyu could feel that the speed at which he absorbed Yuan Qi could no longer keep up with his pace. Relying on the 3rd stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique, he would need at least 20 hours to fill up all 13 cyclones. 20 hours was obviously not something that Ningyu could wait for. After going over the 4th stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique in his mind, Ningyu started to cultivate. Although his soul force had reached the peak of 4th grade, Ningyu still felt that it was a little difficult to cultivate the 4th stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique. Each stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique became more profound and difficult to cultivate. If it wasn't for Ningyu's experience from his past life, he would need at least 10 days to cultivate the fourth stage. With the experience from his past life, Ningyu's speed of cultivating the fourth stage of the spirit transformation technique was obviously much faster. In half an hour, Ningyu had reached the entry stage of the spirit transformation technique. In 2 hours, Ningyu had reached initial success in cultivating the spirit transformation technique. Phew. 4 hours later, Ningyu let out a long breath. At this moment, the fourth stage of the spirit transformation technique was successfully cultivated. After successfully cultivating the fourth stage of the spirit transformation technique, Ningyu did not have the slightest hesitation. He immediately took out a high-grade yuan crystal and threw it into his mouth. Crack, crack. As the sound of high-grade essence crystals shattering continued to ring, Ningyu's eyes burst out unabashedly. Bang! 15 minutes later, feeling that all 13 cyclones were filled, Ningyu's face lit up. The fourth stage of the spirit transformation technique is really something. The speed at which I absorb yuan qi has increased by several times. It's time to break through to 15 cyclones. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu operated the spirit transformation art to the extreme. A steady stream of essence qi flowed into his sea of consciousness through the spirit transformation art. Ningyu did not blindly choose the cyclones he wanted to split. Instead, he chose the 2 largest cyclones and injected his essence into them. Buzz! With the injection of primal qi, the 2 cyclones actually began to sway. Not good. The vortex shook, which greatly exceeded Ningyu's expectations. Originally, according to his speculation, when the cyclone expanded to a certain extent, it would explode. Then, he could use his soul power to suppress the cyclone in the instant of the explosion, causing the 2 cyclones to completely separate. The current situation had already deviated. This was something he had never expected. Soul power, go in. Helpless, Ningyu could only first insert his soul power into the cyclone, forcefully stabilizing it. Shoo! At this moment, a cold light suddenly shot out from another cyclone and rushed into the expanding cyclone. Indigo spiritual fire. Ningyu was stunned when he saw the cold light. However, when he saw the true appearance of the cold light, his expression changed drastically. The indigo spiritual fire had already dominated one of his cyclones. Now, it wouldn't dominate 2 cyclones, right? Swoosh, swoosh. What happened next caused Ningyu to be dumbfounded. He saw the cold light of the indigo spiritual fire split into 2 and entered the 2 cyclones. Bang, bang. However, just as Ningyu's soul power was about to come into contact with the indigo spiritual fire, 2 muffled sounds came from his sea of consciousness, causing him to be stunned on the spot. The cyclones that he had spent so much effort to split actually succeeded with the help of the indigo spiritual fire. Isn't this 2F** king ridiculous? Actually, anyone who encountered such a situation would be dumbfounded. It was already very impressive that Ningyu could remain so calm. Should I continue to split the cyclones? At this moment, an idea popped up in Ningyu's mind. Why not use this opportunity to split the cyclones into 16? Furthermore, according to this situation, it was even possible to surpass the limit of the innate cyclones and split the cyclones into 25. After a moment, Ningyu gave up on this bold idea. Only some primordial savages would dare to split the cyclones into 25 in the innate realm. Since he had decided to give up on splitting the cyclones, Ningyu shook his wrist and took out the Absolute Soul Sword. In his mind, he recalled the cultivation method of the Absolute Sword Wave, the 5th move of the Supreme 9 Purities Sword Art. Then, Ningyu began to cultivate. The Absolute Sword Wave had even higher requirements for essence qi. If the 9 Purities Sword Wave required the essence within 1 cyclone, then the Absolute Sword Wave would require at least 2 cyclones. In other words, with 15 cyclones, Ningyu could at most cast the Absolute Sword Wave 7 times. If he couldn't kill the enemy with the Absolute Sword Wave 7 times, the essence in his sea of consciousness would be exhausted. Of course, the Absolute Sword Wave was even more difficult to cultivate than the 9 Purities Sword Wave. However, compared to when he was cultivating the 9 Purities Sword Wave, Ningyu's soul force had already advanced to the peak of the 4th grade, so he was confident that he could successfully cultivate the absolute sword wave. While Ning Yu was cultivating the absolute sword wave, the Dark Emperor was lying on the ground like a dead dog with a bulging stomach. With 5 million high-grade essence crystals, the Dark Emperor didn't care about anything else and directly transformed into his original body, swallowing it along with the storage bag into his stomach. Only the Emperor of the Heaven-Swallowing Dog clan, the purple gold Heaven-Swallowing Dog, would dare to do such a suicidal act. One had to know that the energy contained in 5 million high-grade essence crystals, if it were to explode in an instant, even a Yuan-Dan realm martial artist would not dare to face it head-on. And the Dark Emperor was only at the peak of the true martial realm, yet he dared to swallow it. Just this courage alone was enough to make others look at him in a new light. However, the Dark Emperor's digestion speed was too fast. Every minute, his stomach would shrink a little. In the end, it even returned to normal. Burp. After his stomach returned to normal, the Dark Emperor burped and crawled up from the ground. Half-step Yuan-Dan realm, not bad, not bad. Feeling the aura emitted from his body, the Dark Emperor nodded his head in satisfaction. At this moment, he had advanced to the half-step Yuan-Dan realm. However, the undigested high-grade essence crystals in his stomach were enough for him to digest for a very long time. Before he completely digested the high-grade essence crystals in his stomach, he did not have any desire to devour anything else. It was really like eating a full meal and not being hungry for 3 days. Swish. At this moment, a cold light rushed out from Ning Yu's body and landed beside the Dark Emperor. Red skin, how did you become so strong? The moment he saw the Red Devil, the Dark Emperor's eyes widened and his face was filled with disbelief. Initially, he thought that by advancing to the half-step Yuan-Dan realm, he would be able to suppress Ning Yu and the Red Devil. But from the looks of it, the Red Devil was on par with him. Kai Kai. Suddenly, a shocking sword wave formed in the air and after slight friction with the air, it disappeared. SSS. Although this sword wave only appeared for a moment before disappearing, it still left a very deep impression in the Dark Emperor's heart. His mouth opened and he was speechless. Ning Yu, your strength has also become so strong. Looking at the sword wave dissipating in the air, Ning Yu nodded his head in satisfaction. Sweeping his gaze across the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil, Ning Yu said, your strength has also increased qualitatively. Of course, don't you know who I am? The Emperor of the Heaven-Swallowing Hound clan, the purple gold Heaven-Swallowing Hound. Raising his head, the Dark Emperor's purple gold wings appeared behind him and he floated in midair. If Su Xingyan dares to come now, I can kill him myself. Chapter 225. Hihi, is that so? When this voice resounded in the area, Ning Yu's face instantly darkened. He was very familiar with the owner of this voice. Russell. In the next moment, several figures approached from afar and landed in front of Ning Yu in the blink of an eye. TSK, it's actually the purple gold sky-devouring dog. The young man in front looked at the Dark Emperor floating in the air, smacked his lips, and said with a smile, although you have advanced to the half-step Yuan-Dan stage, it will be difficult for you to kill me with your strength. Su Xingyan, your cultivation is not at the peak Xiantian stage. When everyone appeared, Ning Yu's gaze fell on Su Xingyan because he discovered that Su Xingyan's cultivation was not at the peak Xiantian stage, but at the initial true martial realm. In other words, it was very likely that Su Xingyan had devoured the exquisite fruit and advanced to the initial true martial realm. Moreover, there were 4 half-step Yuan-Dan stage experts behind Su Xingyan. 2 elders from the corpse sect, and 2 spectral corpses. Hihi, of course my cultivation is not at the peak Xiantian stage. With a faint smile, Su Xingyan slowly closed his eyes, as if he was reminiscing. A moment later, he opened his eyes and said, the exquisite fruit is indeed a grade 7 fruit. Not only did it double the size of my cyclone, it also allowed me to smoothly advance to the initial true martial realm. In fact, Su Xingyan had already completed the transaction with Wenyi 4 netherworld pills in exchange for 4 exquisite fruits 4 hours ago. After the transaction, Wenyi left the Mio woods and returned to the capital. As for Su Xingyan, he had devoured the exquisite fruit and relied on top-grade yuan crystals to advance from the peak Xiantian stage to the initial true martial realm. Originally, Su Xingyan planned to wait for the good news from Hu Yang and the others in the cave, but the earth-shattering explosion made him feel a little uneasy. In the end, he decided to personally take a look. Su Xingyan finally found this place after searching for 4 to 6 hours in the Mio woods. Su Xingyan, it seems like you know everything. With a grave expression, Ningyu said in a deep voice, your 3 brothers died in my hands. It's not a big deal to kill those trash. Su Xingyan obviously did not care about the deaths of Hu Yang and the others. He waved his hand and said, I should be thanking you for saving me 3 exquisite fruits. Speaking up to here, Su Xingyan's tone suddenly changed and he gloomily said, however, they are still people from the corpse sect. I have to avenge them. Go ahead and commit suicide. I can leave your corpse intact. Brat, don't think that just because you've advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, you're awesome. I'm a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Towards Su Xingyan's arrogance, the Dark Emperor could not stand it any longer and said angrily, furthermore, there are 3 of us, and only 1 of you. Damned dog, are we not human? The 2 elders behind Su Xingyan were very unhappy. They took a step forward and said darkly, you can't be counted as 3 people. At best, you can only be counted as 2.5 people, because you are a dog. Roar. The old man's words had clearly angered the Dark Sovereign. He flapped his violet gold wings and instantly arrived before an elder. His huge tail swept towards the elder's head, creating gusts of wind. Whoosh whoosh. After advancing to the half-step Yuan Dan realm, the Dark Emperor's strength had increased by more than just a little. With a sweep of his tail, the surrounding air chose to avoid it. The current Dark Emperor could even contend against an ordinary Yuan Dan realm martial artist. However, he had clearly hit a nail. These 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists of the corpse sect were not much weaker than the Dark Emperor. Coupled with the fact that each of them had a ghost corpse, the Dark Emperor was at a disadvantage the moment he clashed with them. Let me help you. At this moment, a cold glint flashed in the Red Devil's eyes. His sleeves fluttered and he instantly joined the battlefield, helping the Dark Emperor block an old man. Although 5 million high-grade origin crystals were not enough to break the 7-star array, they had blasted a small hole in the 7-star array, allowing the Red Devil to establish some contact with his main body. Originally, the Red Devil's strength was comparable to a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Now, it had increased by a lot and was close to the Yuan Dan realm. Ha ha ha, you dare to provoke me? Today next year will be the anniversary of your death. With the help of the Red Devil, the pressure on the Dark Emperor was greatly reduced. With a loud laugh, he charged at one of the old men. Although Xiao Chen was not a match for the 4 Dark Monarchs, he could at least hold his ground against 2 of them and not be at a disadvantage. After establishing some contact with his main body, the Red Devil's strength was slightly stronger than the half-step Yuan Dan realm old man. Even if he faced the old man and the ghost corpse, the Red Devil could still contend against them. While the battle was going on, Su Xingyan remained calm and said with a smile, Dan Yu, your talent and strength are both very strong. I'll give you a chance to live. If you follow me, I can even give you an exquisite fruit. Follow you? Ningyu raised his eyebrows and said calmly, you really want to give me an exquisite fruit? Seeing that Ningyu was somewhat tempted, Su Xingyan flicked his sleeve and a jade bottle filled with black liquid appeared in his hand. As long as you swallow it, not to mention an exquisite fruit, even if you want to advance to the true martial realm, I can help you. Heart-devouring liquid. The moment he saw the jade bottle, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. Because he knew what the black liquid inside the jade bottle was. The heart-devouring liquid was a liquid specially developed by the corpse sect. If an ordinary martial artist swallowed the heart-devouring liquid, they would have to take an antidote every month, otherwise they would bleed from their 7 orifices and die. Although he knew that the bottle contained the heart-devouring liquid, Ningyu did not show it on his face. Instead, he asked, what liquid is inside? Don't worry, this liquid is not harmful to you. Su Xingyan shook the jade bottle in his hand and said, everyone in the corpse sect has taken it. It is only a symbol of identity. Only by swallowing it can you prove that you are a member of the corpse sect. Is that so? Ningyu thoughtfully nodded his head and said, if that is the case, it is not impossible for me to swallow it. However, I want to see the exquisite fruit. Ningyu continued. Su Xingyan took out a silver transparent box from his bosom. Inside the box were 3 fiery red fruits. Su Xingyan smiled and said, "As long as you take this bottle of liquid, I can give you your exquisite fruit." "Give me the bottle," Ningyu said. "Here you go." Su Xingyan threw the bottle containing the heart-devouring liquid toward Ningyu. The moment he threw the bottle, Su Xingyang's lips curled into an unnatural arc. An evil smile appeared on his face. "Brat, you are still too young." Su Xingyan smiled evilly and said, "This is the latest heart-devouring liquid developed by the corpse sect. Its medicinal effect has been developed, and it is not only effective after taking." "What?" Before Su Xingyan's laughter finished, a crisp sound entered his ears, causing his eyes to widen. Catcher. Chapter 226. You. Seeing the jade bottle shattered by Ningyu, Su Xingyan's face turned ugly. He felt like he had been tricked. He had painstakingly argued with Ningyu for so long in order to control Ningyu. Who would have thought, in the end, it was all for naught? His plan had long been seen through by Ningyu. "Originally, I wanted to let you live. Since you are looking for death, don't blame me." As his voice fell, Su Xingyan's eyes flickered with coldness. His aura was released. Peak of the early stage of the true martial realm. Although he had just advanced to the true martial realm, Su Xingyan's aura had reached the peak of the early stage of the true martial realm. He was only a step away from the middle stage of the true martial realm. For a genius like Su Xingyan, there was only a thin membrane between the early stage and the middle stage of the true martial realm. If he wanted to, he could break through to the middle stage of the true martial realm. After all, their accumulation had long reached the middle stage of the true martial realm. Crash. Facing the powerful aura from Su Xingyan, Ningyu did not panic. Instead, the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness surged and surged around his body. In terms of the intensity of yuan qi, Su Xingyan could not possibly have the upper hand. Su Xingyan only had 5 or 6 qi whirlpools at most. In Ningyu's sea of consciousness, there were a total of 15 qi whirlpools. Overlord Fist. Sensing that Ningyu's aura was not any weaker than his, Su Xingyan let out a low roar and charged towards Ningyu. At the same time, he crossed his fists in front of him, bringing along a whistling wind. Ningyu did not dare to be negligent. He slightly bent his legs, gathered the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness on his fists, and collided with Su Xingyan's fists. Bang! 4 fists collided, and a crisp sound burst out. Then, Ningyu hurriedly summoned the phantom armor and quickly retreated. Swoosh! Seeing Ningyu retreat, Su Xingyan revealed an evil smile. Yuan qi wrapped around his legs, and in a split second, he raised his speed to the limit and chased after Ningyu. Through the exchange just now, Su Xingyan roughly judged some of Ningyu's strength. In terms of the strength of yuan qi, the two were on par. However, he had the advantage of his cultivation level. In this aspect, he could crush Ningyu. Therefore, Su Xingyan chased after Ningyu without hesitation. Shosho. However, as time passed, Su Xingyang's expression became uglier and uglier. In the end, it even turned ashen. Because as long as he sped up, Ningyu would speed up. If he slowed down, Ningyu would also slow down. 10 minutes had passed, and the distance between him and Ningyu had not decreased at all. Instead, it seemed to be widening. "Brat, do you only know how to run?" Su Xingyang loudly berated, "If you have the ability, stop and we will fight to the death." Ningyu did not take Su Xingyan's scolding to heart. He was not running away, but preparing to deal a fatal blow. Dealing with a peerless genius like Su Xingyan, he must achieve a one-hit kill. He could not give him any chance. Wanting to kill in one hit, he first had to make Su Xingyan's state of mind unsteady and become impetuous. "Good, very good. You run, continue running. I'll go kill that dog right now." Since he could not catch up to Ningyu, Su Xingyan might as well give up. He turned around and sped towards the Dark Emperor's battlefield. Damn it! Underworld Dominator Palm. Su Xingyan's actions clearly made Ningyu's expression change somewhat. Cursing inwardly, Ningyu hurriedly wrapped his soul force around his palm and pushed out a palm print with a backhand. TSK. A huge tangible palm print appeared in midair, transforming into a palm, and rumbled towards Su Xingyan. Soul attack skill. The instant the palm print blasted out, Su Xingyan's eyes widened, revealing a shocked expression. Actually, it was no wonder that Su Xingyan was shocked. After all, soul attack skills were relatively rare. Even though he was ranked 8th in the Ghost Talent Hall, he did not cultivate soul attack skills. Moreover, from the palm print, Su Xingyan could vaguely determine the strength of Ningyu's soul force. Peak of Grade 4. Ningyu's soul force had actually reached the peak of Grade 4. This made Su Xingyan very shocked. Corpse Yin energy. In the next moment, Su Xingyan flicked his sleeve, and a black jade bottle was thrown out to meet the dark dominating palm. Explode. As Su Xingyan bellowed, the black jade bottle also exploded. Shosho. The moment the black jade bottle exploded, several wisps of gas spread out, enveloping the dark dominating palm within. TSK. Not long after, the dark dominating palm that Ningyu was so proud of was nibbled away by the wisps of gas. Corpse Yin energy. Seeing that the dark dominating palm was nibbled away, Ningyu, who had just raised his palm, slowly lowered it. Originally, he wanted to use the dark dominating palm again. However, he did not expect that the corpse yin energy that Su Xingyan produced was so terrifying that even his palm print was completely corroded. Luckily, I did not wrap all my soul force around the palm print. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Until now, Ningyu still had some lingering fear. Hehe, what other tricks do you have? Show them all. After blocking Ningyu's soul attack skill, Su Xingyan regained his composure and laughed. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu slowly rose into the air. The vital chi in the two cyclones in his sea of consciousness poured out and attached to the breaking soul sword. Then, the soul-breaking sword vibrated at an extremely strange frequency. Suddenly, Ningyu stabbed out with the sword. Wherever the sword tip passed, the air was pierced. Absolute sword wave. When these three words came out of Ningyu's mouth, a sword wave that contained violent chi separated from the soul-breaking sword. Buzz. The air around the sword wave buzzed. The violent chi contained in the absolute sword wave caused Su Xingyan's face to turn extremely gloomy. He even had the impulse to escape. However, he did not choose to escape. Instead, he opened his mouth and spat out a ball of green gas. Grabbing the green gas in his hand, he quickly formed a hand seal with his right hand. Whoosh. As Su Xingyan's right hand continued to form hand seals, a terrifying suction force spread out with him as the center. In an instant, the surrounding chi all gathered on Su Xingyan's palm. Moreover, Su Xingyan's right hand had also turned dark green. Corpse yin palm. In the next instant, Su Xingyan's right hand suddenly pushed out. With a violent wind, it collided with the absolute sword wave in the air. Su Xingyan had obviously underestimated the power of the absolute sword wave. As soon as his right hand came into contact with the absolute sword wave, he felt a piercing pain coming from his palm. The sudden change caused Su Xingyan to cry out involuntarily and hurriedly withdraw his right hand. However, his right hand was firmly stuck to the absolute sword wave. No matter how hard he tried, he could not retract his right hand. Moreover, Su Xingyan also discovered that an almost undetectable gas flowed from the absolute sword wave into his right hand and slowly climbed up his arm. Damn it! The change in his right hand caused Su Xingyan's heart to sink to the bottom. Poochie. Chapter 227. Su Xingyang's hand rose and fell, and a scream like that of a pig being slaughtered came from his mouth. So ruthless. Looking at the bloody palm on the ground, even Ningyu admired Su Xingyan's courage to give up his right hand. Although he admired Su Xingyan's courage, Ningyu knew that Su Xingyan was right. If he didn't give up his right hand, the consequences would be unimaginable. Whoosh! In the next moment, a blue flame shot out from Su Xingyan's right hand and arrived before Ningyu. Blue spiritual fire. Seeing the blue flame in front of Ningyu, Su Xingyan had the urge to slap himself. In reality, He should have thought of the blue spiritual fire a long time ago. After all, Ningyu had already shown him the blue spiritual fire in the cave. You cut off my hand. At this moment, Su Xingyan calmed down. Ignoring the pain coming from his right hand, he said in a deep voice, I'll use your head to pay for it. You cut off your right hand, it's none of my business, Ningyu shrugged and said, besides, what are you going to use to take my head? Hee. The corner of Su Xingyan's mouth curled up. He suddenly bent down and picked up his right hand with his left hand. Then, under Ningyu's shocked gaze, Su Xingyan brought his right hand to his mouth. Crunch, crunch. With the sound of crunching and chewing, Ningyu was dumbfounded, and he was extremely dumbfounded. Eating his right hand? Only a freak from the corpse sect could do such a terrifying thing, right? Not long after, Su Xingyan finished chewing his right hand. He licked his lips and revealed an evil smile. Hiss, hiss. Seeing Su Xingyan like this, Ningyu couldn't help but shiver. Goosebumps appeared all over his body. If you think my strength will drop a lot after losing my right hand, then you are too naive. With that, Su Xingyan took out a palm from his storage pouch. This palm was blood red in color and contained violent energy fluctuations. Without the slightest hesitation, Su Xingyan placed the blood-red palm on his right wrist in front of Ningyu. Kaye. Kaye. As Su Xingyan waved his right arm, a series of crisp sounds rang out from the joint of his palms. However, this clear and melodious sound did not last for too long before it disappeared completely. The disappearance of the crisp sound indicated that the blood-red palm had replaced Su Xingyan's right hand and become a part of his body. This is the palm of a manifestation realm warrior. Originally, I planned to change it after I advanced to the Yuan Dan realm, but this is all thanks to you. Su Xingyang raised his right hand and said solemnly, in order to repay you, I've decided to tear you apart and feed you to it. As soon as the word it fell, Su Xingyan rose from the ground. At the same time, his new right hand brought along a gust of wind, whistling as it struck towards Ningyu's head. At this critical moment, Ningyu hurriedly released the essence qi in his sea of consciousness and wrapped it around his palm to meet Su Xingyan's fist. Pa! A muffled sound rang out and a piercing pain came from his palm, causing Ningyu to hurriedly withdraw his right hand. Not good. However, just as he exerted force with his right hand, Ningyu's heart sank to the bottom. This was because he discovered that his right hand was the same as Su Xingyan's. No matter how hard he tried, he was unable to withdraw it. To be swallowed by the palm of a manifestation realm warrior, you're not at a disadvantage. Su Xingyan smiled evilly at Ningyu. Damn it. Azure spirit fire. Cursing inwardly, Ningyu hurriedly released the azure spirit fire in his sea of consciousness and wrapped it around the soul-severing sword, instantly striking towards Su Xingyan's right hand. Kai. Unfortunately, the moment the soul-severing sword came into contact with Su Xingyan's right hand, it was stuck by a huge suction force and could not move an inch. If you want to live, you only have one way now. Su Xingyan indifferently said, abandon your right hand. That's impossible. There was no way Ningyu would abandon his right hand. Instead, he stared at Su Xingyan's right hand, hoping to find a flaw. After one's cultivation reached the manifestation realm, one could maintain the activity of the palm for a period of time and would not lose its function within a short period of time. The palm that Su Xingyan had reattached was obviously not freshly taken from a manifestation realm warrior. It seemed to have been preserved for a long time. However, it was impossible for a manifestation realm warrior's palm to be preserved for such a long time, unless, thinking of this, Ningyu's eyes widened and his face revealed a look of ecstasy. This was because he thought of a possibility. It was also something that he had come into contact with in his previous life. In his previous life, he had refined an elixir to preserve the palm of martial artists below the supremacy realm. A grade 8 elixir, the active elixir. As long as the active elixir was turned into powder and smeared on the palm, it could ensure the palm's activity for a long time. From Su Xingyan's palm, Ningyu did not sense a trace of the active elixir's aura. In other words, Su Xingyan did not use a grade 8 active elixir but another elixir instead. A grade 6 elixir, the melting elixir. Su Xingyan must have used the melting elixir. Using the melting elixir to preserve the palm had a fatal flaw. After the fusion, there was a 1-week buffer period. As long as soul force was used to stimulate the arm during this buffer period, the fusion of the arm would fail. Su Xingyan, I really don't know how you still dare to be so arrogant after using the melting elixir. Ningyu said in a low voice as the soul force in his body flowed out and wrapped around the fingertip of his left hand. What? Hearing Ningyu's words and seeing the soul force on Ningyu's fingertip, Su Xingyan's pupils shrank and revealed a horrified expression. He did not expect Ningyu to know that he was using the melting elixir to preserve his manifestation realm palm. Moreover, not only did Ningyu know about the melting elixir, but he also knew how to restrain it. Go! Ignoring Su Xingyan's shock, Ningyu's left hand suddenly pointed forward. Swoosh! After that, the peak grade 4 soul force flew towards Su Xingyan's manifestation realm palm without a care for its life. TSK. As expected, the moment the grade 4 soul force came into contact with the manifestation realm palm, it unleashed its power. The place where the palm was connected let out a hissing sound, and there was actually an urge to break the connection. Close it for me. The sudden change caused Su Xingyan's expression to change drastically. He hurriedly circulated the skill and gathered the primordial qi on his palm, trying to stabilize it. Come back. Ningyu seized the opportunity and quickly withdrew his right hand. Moreover, the soul-breaking sword was also withdrawn. With a cold snort, Ningyu stomped his feet on the ground and suddenly dashed out while Su Xingyan was in a panic. Su Xingyan, a sin committed by heaven can be forgiven, but a sin committed by oneself cannot be forgiven. While controlling the soul force to suppress Su Xingyan's palm, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword and performed the 5th form of the Supreme 9 Purities sword technique, Absolute Sword Wave. Rumble. As soon as the Absolute Sword Wave was used, heaven and earth immediately changed color, and the wind blew and clouds surged. This was because Ningyu had used a total of 4 cyclones of primordial qi in order to achieve a one-hit kill. Damn it! Feeling the huge wave of primordial qi released from the sword wave in the air, the hope that had just been ignited in Su Xingyan was once again shattered. Chapter 228. Do I have to give up the manifestation realm palm? Su Xingyan's expression was dark and uncertain, as if he could not make up his mind. He had gone through a lot of hardships to obtain the manifestation realm palm. He was unwilling to give it up now. If he did not give up the manifestation realm palm, he would have to give up his left hand. Where there's life, there's hope. After pondering for a second, Su Xingyan made a decision. He gave up his left hand and kept the manifestation realm palm. Su Xingyan gathered all the primordial energy in his body on his left hand. Violent primordial energy exploded from his palm and blasted towards the huge sword wave in midair. Hiss! The palm collided with the absolute sword wave. The piercing pain caused Su Xingyan to grit his teeth and tremble uncontrollably. Enduring the intense pain, Su Xingyan raised his manifestation realm palm and chopped down on his left hand. Bang! His hand rose and fell. At this moment, Su Xingyan's left hand was heartlessly abandoned. Crack! The moment his left hand fell to the ground, Su Xingyan seemed to have seen something terrifying. His eyes were filled with terror. Crack, crack. 2 consecutive cracking sounds rang out. Then, under Su Xingyan's shocked gaze, the manifestation realm palm left his right wrist. Before the manifestation realm palm fell to the ground, Ningyu raised his speed to the limit and quickly flashed past Su Xingyan. Su Xingyan looked at Ningyu, who had already flown far away, and then lowered his head to look at his hands. A heart-wrenching scream resounded through the entire dense forest. Brat, you will die a horrible death. Su Xingyan's heart sank. He gave up his left hand to block Ningyu's absolute sword wave, but his manifestation realm palm had been snatched away by Ningyu. In just a few minutes, he had lost 3 palms. He would never have imagined such a tragic state in the past. In the past, even if he had encountered a primordial core realm warrior, he would not have ended up in such a tragic state. I will die a horrible death. I'm sorry, but you might not live to see the sun tomorrow. A cold glint appeared in Ningyu's eyes as he held the soul-severing sword and rushed out. Kai Kai. The Absolute Soul Sword contained berserk yuan qi that constantly pulsed. There were even some blue flames leaping on the sword tip. Indigo Spiritual Fire. Ningyu wrapped all the indigo spiritual fire in his sea of consciousness around the soul-breaking sword. He even attached his peak 4th grade soul force to the soul-breaking sword in order to kill in one strike. Looking at the breaking soul sword approaching him, Su Xingyan's pupils shrank. He could not muster up the courage to resist. Whoosh! Su Xingyan's feet moved quickly. He was like a nimble rabbit as he quickly dashed into the distance. How could Ningyu give Su Xingyang the chance to escape? He didn't hesitate to burn half of his soul force, increasing his speed once again. Buzz buzz. Su Xingyan turned his head and saw that Ningyu's speed had skyrocketed. Su Xingyan desperately forced out his essence blood to burn, and his speed also increased qualitatively. However, the injured Su Xingyan was obviously half a beat slower than Ningyu. Even so, Ningyu had to chase for a full hour before he caught up to Su Xingyan. After catching up to Su Xingyan, Ningyu mercilessly pierced the Absolute Soul Sword into the latter's heart. Poochie. Su Xingyan lowered his head and looked at the flying sword that had yet to be pulled out from his heart. He was stunned on the spot, and his eyes revealed a look of despair. Kai. Ningyu slightly exerted force in his palm and pushed the Absolute Soul Sword forward, directly piercing through Su Xingyan's chest. Su Xingyan's eyes widened. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but he fell to the ground with a plop. Until his death, he still could not understand why Ningyu was so strong. Even when he advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, he was still not Ningyu's opponent. Could it be that Ningyu was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger, and his real cultivation had already reached the peak of the true martial realm? However, Su Xingyan would never know the answer to this question in his life. Phew. After confirming that Su Xingyan was dead, Ningyu's taut nerves finally relaxed a little. Putting away the Absolute Soul Sword, Ningyu directly sat on the ground, gasping for breath. Su Xingyan was practically the strongest person he had faced since his rebirth. His strength was comparable to an Yuan Dan realm martial artist. If he had not split the cyclone into 15 and successfully cultivated the 5th style of the 9 purities supreme sword art, Absolute Sword Wave, he would definitely not be Su Xingyan's opponent. After recovering a little, Ningyu stood up and walked towards Su Xingyan. After searching Su Xingyan's body for a while, Ningyu found 2 storage pouches and a silver white box. Naturally, there were 3 exquisite fruits in the box. Ningyu unceremoniously put them into the storage ring. So many spirit stones. Probing the storage pouches with his soul force, Ningyu's face revealed a happy expression. Both storage pouches were filled with origin crystals. One contained 20 million high-grade crystals, and the other contained 1 million supreme-grade crystals. If 1 million supreme-grade crystals were converted to high-grade crystals, it would be 100 million high-grade crystals. I can't believe I've become a rich man. I got rich overnight. After putting the storage bag away, Ningyu did not stay any longer. His figure flickered as he flew toward the Dark Emperor. Although the strength of the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil had increased qualitatively, the 2 half-step Yuan Dan stage corps sect elders were not pushovers and would not be easily bullied. According to Ningyu's speculation, the 2 corps sect elders were not weak. Although they were not stronger than Su Xingyan, the gap should not be too big. After all, the gap between realms was insurmountable. Because he was worried about the safety of the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil, Ningyu raised his speed to the limit and arrived before long. What the F***ck? Seeing the scene in the air, Ningyu couldn't help but curse. His face was filled with shock. He came at the right time and saw the bloody side of the battle. The Dark Emperor grabbed the Spectre corpse with his front claws and suddenly exerted force, tearing the Spectre corpse in half. One must know that it was a half-step Yuan Dan realm Spectre corpse, yet the Dark Emperor easily tore it in half. Such strength could only be described as terrifying. Without the help of the Spectre corpse, the corpse sect elder was clearly unable to do as he wished. If the battle continued, he would be defeated sooner or later. After the Dark Emperor was relieved, Ningyu shifted his gaze to the Red Devil's battlefield. Compared to the Dark Emperor, The Red Devil was even more exaggerated. Only he and the Red Devil were fighting in the air, and the spectre corpse had long disappeared. What the F***ck? Looking at the ground, Ningyu was dumbfounded when he saw the skeleton not far away. The Red Devil was much more exaggerated than the Dark Emperor. The spectre corpse had already been eliminated by him, leaving only a skeleton. Just when Ningyu was shocked, the Red Devil suddenly turned into a red flying sword and seized the opportunity to pierce the corpse sect elder's forehead. One-hit kill. The corpse sect elder didn't even have the chance to scream before he was killed by the Red Devil. Gulp. Seeing the corpse sect elder being killed, Ningyu swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He originally thought that he was strong enough, but who would have thought that the Red Devil was on par with him? Chapter 229. Originally, the Dark Emperor had the upper hand against the old man from the corpse sect. With the help of Hong Mo, it was like adding wings to a tiger. In just a quarter of an hour, the Dark Emperor and Hong Mo joined forces and killed the old man from the corpse sect. Red Skin, hurry up and help Ningyu. After the battle ended, the Dark Emperor didn't have time to rest. He quickly flapped the purple gold wings on his back to help Ningyu. He knew that Su Xingyan was still very strong. Swish. Before the Dark Emperor could move, Ningyu appeared in front of him wearing a phantom armor. Ningyu. Seeing the familiar figure in front of him, the Dark Emperor's mouth opened wide in disbelief. In the Dark Emperor's view, Ningyu was basically no match for Su Xingyan. Therefore, after he killed the old man from the corpse sect, the first thing he thought of was to help Ningyu. But now, Ningyu was standing in front of him unscathed, as if nothing had happened. The Dark Emperor stopped and said, Su Xingyan was killed by you? That's right. Nodding, Ningyu didn't want to talk about Su Xingyan too much. Instead, he said, we shouldn't stay here for long. We should return to Wu Tuo City as soon as possible. This trip to the Miao Forest could be said to be a great harvest. Not only did he kill the 6 peerless geniuses of the corpse sect, he also obtained 40 million high-grade origin crystals and 1 million top-grade origin crystals. What made Ningyu even more excited was that he obtained 3 exquisite fruit. With 3 exquisite fruits, Ningyu was confident that he could split the cyclone into 16 and break through to the true martial realm. Understood. Even though there were too many questions in his heart, the Dark Emperor knew that this was not the place to talk. With such a huge battle, there might be experts who noticed this place. In their current state, if an origin core expert rushed over, the consequences would be unimaginable. Without any hesitation, the Dark Emperor shrunk his body and rushed out of the Miao Forest. Hong Mo attached himself to the broken soul sword and followed Ningyu out of the Miao Forest. Kuala. Sure enough, not long after Ningyu and the others left, space surged, and 2 figures appeared in the sky above the forest. We're late. One of the elders swept his gaze across the dense forest and frowned. Another middle-aged man said in a deep voice, should we go down and investigate? After pondering for a moment, the old man shook his head and said, no need. The secluded forest was occupied by the corpse sect a long time ago. The battle that happened here is most likely related to them. It's best if we don't get involved. After some thought, the old man continued, don't tell anyone about this. Just pretend that it never happened. Our mission is to ensure the safety of Wu Tuo City. As long as the corpse sect's origin core realm warriors don't cross the line, we don't need to take the initiative to attack. Go. With that, the middle-aged man and the old man's figures flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. At the same time, Wu Tuo City, Alchemy Union. Inside the alchemy room, Master Tong suddenly threw a jade bottle on the ground and pointed at Ningyu's nose. Do you think my place is a welfare institute? You're shoving everyone here. I haven't been refining pills for 2 days. You'll have to bear all of this loss. What loss can you have? Besides, when N and Ji Fei aren't in the alchemy room. Ningyu slandered in his heart, but he didn't dare to say it out loud. Instead, he said, Elder Tong, don't worry. I'll definitely do what I promised you. A furnace of transcendent essence recovery pills. After returning to Wu Tuo City, Ningyu didn't go anywhere else. He went directly to the Alchemy Union. He thought he could see Lu Wei and the others, but who would have thought that he would be caught by Elder Tong and dragged to the alchemy room? Too late. Stretching out 2 fingers, Master Tong said, 2 furnaces of transcendent essence recovery pills. Hurry up and work for me, or else you'll suffer. Okay, 2 furnaces it is. Ning Yu nodded helplessly. As long as Master Tong cooperated and was obedient, refining transcendent essence recovery pills was still relatively easy. That's more like it. I've already prepared the medicinal ingredients. We can start refining pills now. As he spoke, Master Tong took out a storage bag and poured a large amount of medicinal ingredients on the table. Seeing Master Tong like this, Ning Yu was immediately dumbfounded. It felt like he was prepared at all times. Ning Yu even suspected that it wasn't a coincidence that he ran into Master Tong at the entrance of the Alchemy Union. Master Tong, where's Lu Wei and the rest? Ning Yu hurriedly said, why didn't I see them? Oh, you're talking about that little girl? This morning, a powerhouse came to Snowfield Pavilion and took them away, Master Tong replied. Took them away? Ge Fei and his family were also taken away. Ning Yu asked doubtfully. Didn't you understand what I said? All of them left. Not a single one was left. Master Tong was rather impatient as he said, you brat, hurry up. Don't go around in circles with me. It's not impossible to refine a supreme essence recovering pill. From now on, you have to listen to me the entire time. Ning Yu rolled his eyes and said in a deep voice, if I tell you to go east, you can't go west. Brat, you want to mess with me, right? Master Tong's temper also flared up as he said angrily, I've prepared 10 batches of medicinal ingredients for the essence recovering pill. If you can't refine 2 batches of supreme essence recovering pills before evening, I'll let you know why flowers are so red. How would I dare to mess with you? It's just that Master said that refining a supreme essence recovering pill is extremely difficult. If there's a problem in one of the details, the refining might fail. Ning Yu shrugged and said indifferently, when the refining fails, don't say that I didn't remind you. All right. I'll listen to your instructions the entire time. In order to refine a supreme essence recovering pill, Master Tong gritted his teeth and said, I'd like to see what ability you have to make me refine a supreme essence recovering pill. The reason why Master Tong was so eager to refine a supreme essence recovering pill was that he had to represent Wu Tuo City's Alchemy Union to head to the capital to participate in the Alchemy Conference. During the previous Alchemy Conference, he was mocked by a 5th-grade alchemist from the capital's Alchemy Union, who said that he couldn't even refine a essence recovering pill. This time, he wanted to get back at him. If Ning Yu knew what Master Tong was thinking, he would definitely scoff. He was already so old, yet he still held a grudge. However, Ning Yu would definitely do his best to help Master Tong. After all, he had experienced the feeling of being mocked and knew that it was not a good feeling. Ning Yu, is it really okay for your pet to be here? Master Tong did not refine the essence recovering pill immediately. Instead, he pointed at the Dark Emperor who was lying on the side and said, will he spoil things? The Dark Emperor rolled his eyes at Master Tong before moving to the side. The Dark Emperor's human-like action caused Master Tong to be dumbfounded. At the same time, he was rather curious. Why was this pet dog looking down on him? Ignore him. Let's hurry up and refine the essence recovering pill. Ning Yu knew the Dark Emperor's temper. If Master Tong said a few more words, the Dark Emperor would definitely explode. The Dark Emperor hated it when people called him a dog. If he didn't know that Master Tong had helped Lu Wei before, he would definitely settle the score with Master Tong when he called him a pet dog. How strange. Chapter 230. Chapter 230. Zhongyu the Essence Returning Pill was a 5th-grade medicinal pill. With Master Tong's alchemy level and soul force strength, being able to form the pill was already very good. Last time, if it wasn't for Ning Yu's help, he wouldn't even be able to refine a high-grade essence rejuvenation pill, let alone a supreme-grade one. A supreme-grade essence returning pill and a transcendent-grade essence returning pill were on 2 completely different levels of existence. Out of 10 alchemists who could refine a top-grade soul-restoring pill, It was difficult for one to refine a transcendent-grade soul-restoring pill. Directing Master Tong to refine transcendent-grade essence-returning pill, Ningyu's pressure was still quite great. Buzz. However, when Master Tong released his soul power, Ningyu's eyes were filled with shock. This was because the strength of Grandmaster Tong's soul force had actually advanced from 5th grade middle stage to 5th grade late stage. The strengthening of soul force meant that Grandmaster Tong's control over medicinal ingredients was more stable. With the strength of a 5th grade late stage soul force, I might be able to refine 3 or 4 batches of transcendent grade vitality restoration pills out of 10 batches of pills. Ningyu was a little relieved. After all, there was a huge gap between guiding a 5th grade intermediate alchemist and guiding a 5th grade late alchemist. Sure. When Ningyu was guiding Master Tong in refining pills, a 20-year-old man walked into the Alchemy Guild. This man was obviously more familiar with the Alchemy Union. After entering the Alchemy Union, he didn't stop at the main hall but headed inside. Master Tong has instructed me to wait for him in the hall if you come over. Seeing the man's actions, Shu Yun hurriedly came out from the front desk and said, "How many times have I told you not to call me Master Du? Call me Brother Du or Du Chun." The man was obviously a little unhappy and said in a warm and angry tone, "Is my master refining the essence restoring pill again?" Shu Yun's face was slightly flushed as she hurriedly said, Big Brother Du, I don't know if Master Tong refined the essence returning pill or not. Just now, Master Tong brought Ningyu into the pill refining room." "Ningyu?" Du Chun frowned and asked doubtfully, "Who is he? Why haven't I heard of it?" "Ningyu is," Shu Yun wanted to explain, but his mouth opened and closed, not knowing what to say. After all, she did not know much about Ningyu. With a dejected expression, Shu Yun said, "Big Brother Du, I don't know Ningyu's identity either. I only know that he's younger than you, and Grandmaster Tong seems to be very familiar with him." "Is he familiar?" "Master has never mentioned this Ningyu to me." In Du Chun's impression, other than his junior brother, there seemed to be no martial artist in Wu Tuo City whose talent in alchemy could compare to his. Could it be that this Ningyu was Master's personal disciple? Thinking of this, Du Chun couldn't help but want to meet Ningyu. "Hihi, Senior Brother Du, are you picking up girls again?" Right at this moment, a light chuckle sounded from the entrance of the Alchemy Union. A young man in white came to Du Chun's side. The corner of his lips curled up as he looked at Shu Yun and said with a smile, "It's not many days until the alchemy conference. Senior brother, you should learn alchemy knowledge and raise your alchemy skills. Don't embarrass our Wu Tuo City's Alchemy Union." Grandmaster Zhong, Shu Yun hurriedly greeted when she saw the man in white. Zhong Yu glanced at Shu Yun and said with a strange smile, TSK, Senior Brother Du, you have a good eye. You're full of life." Du Chun's expression was a little ugly as he said in a deep voice, "Junior Brother Zhong, no one will think you're mute if you don't speak." Zhong Yu did not comment. He moved his feet and walked toward the alchemy room where Grandmaster Tong was. Swoosh! Du Chun's figure flashed and blocked Zhong Yu's path. He said, "Master should be refining elixirs. I'm afraid it's not good to disturb him at this time, right? Don't think I didn't hear that Master is in the alchemy room with a person called Ningyu." Zhong Yu said casually, "Moreover, the strength of my soul energy has advanced to late stage 3rd grade. I'm here to tell Master and ask him for some alchemy knowledge." Late stage 3rd grade. Du Chun was slightly stunned when he heard that. He looked at Zhong Yu in disbelief. 3 days ago, Zhong Yu's soul energy was the same as his, mid-stage 3rd grade. It had only been 3 days and he had already advanced his soul energy to late-stage 3rd grade. "Senior Brother Du, you have to work hard. I heard that there are many hidden alchemy geniuses in this alchemy conference. With your mid-stage 3rd grade soul energy, you won't even be able to enter the top 10. Zhong Yu smiled. "If you can't enter the top 10, I'm afraid Master won't be happy. It's none of your business whether I can enter the top 10 or not." Du Chun said in a deep voice, "I have to remind you that Master is refining elixirs in the alchemy room. If you barge in recklessly, you'll have to bear the consequences." Zhong Yu shrugged and obviously did not take Du Chun's words to heart. He walked toward the alchemy room. Beside him, Shu Yun gritted his teeth and said, Grandmaster Zhong, Grandmaster Tong told me to wait for him here and not to enter the alchemy room without his permission. No problem. I have some questions that I would like to ask Master. Zhong Yu waved his hand without turning his head. Your lover might run into a wall when he meets Master, but I'm different. I have advanced my soul energy to late stage 3rd grade, and there's a high chance that my soul energy will reach the pinnacle of 3rd grade before the alchemy conference. Big brother Do, what should we do? Zhong Yu did not know how to appreciate kindness. Shu Yun was on the verge of crying. Du Chun comforted her, it's fine. Go ahead and get busy. I'll explain to Master later. Okay, Shu Yun replied softly and returned to the front desk. Du Chun was still a little worried. He followed behind Zhong Yu and walked toward the alchemy room. What a waste. After cultivating for so long, his soul energy is still only mid-stage 3rd grade. So many years of cultivation have gone to waste. Zhong Yu mumbled as he walked. Not long after, he stopped in front of the alchemy room. A dog. However, when he saw a dog lying in front of the alchemy room, he was taken aback. Since when can a dog enter the alchemy union? Get out of here. I want to enter the alchemy room. Zhong Yu lifted his right leg and kicked the Dark Emperor. Ah! However, before Zhong Yu's foot could touch the Dark Emperor, he let out a blood-curdling screech as his body fell backward. Bang! He crashed into the wall behind him. Zhong Yu was dumbfounded. How could a dog be so powerful? After a short moment of confusion, Zhong Yu's face turned gloomy. He realized that Du Chun was already standing in front of him. In other words, Du Chun had seen how he was accidentally kicked away by the Dark Emperor. He had to get back at him. With a gloomy face, Zhong Yu unleashed his aura and suppressed the Dark Emperor. Zhong Yu, what are you doing? Du Chun's face changed when he saw Zhong Yu's actions. Du Chun knew that the dog in front of the alchemy room belonged to Ning Yu, and Ning Yu had a good relationship with his master. Chapter 231. Stupid dog. How dare you offend your grandpa Zhong Yu? You're finished. No one in this world can save you. Ignoring Du Chun's scolding, Zhong Yu slowly walked toward the Dark Emperor and said darkly, This afternoon, I want to eat dog. Bang. Before he could finish his sentence, Zhong Yu's body once again flew toward the wall behind him like a kite with a broken string. The sound of the collision this time was much louder than before. After lying on the ground for a long time, Zhong Yu finally stood up. The Dark Emperor lifted his eyelids lazily and said calmly, Remember, I'm your Grandpa Emperor. You must call me Grandpa when you see me in the future. Otherwise, I won't let you see the moon tonight. Grandpa Emperor? Zhong Yu was stunned. Sigh, my good grandson is so obedient. The Dark Emperor nodded in satisfaction and said, Your grandpa is busy right now. Scram to somewhere cool and disappear from my sight. F***ck, is this dog a demon? Zhong Yu was dumbfounded. He could not believe what he had just heard. He thought he was arrogant enough. Who would have thought that this dog was even more arrogant than him? Zhong Yu's face sank to the bottom. He had never suffered such a huge loss before. Furthermore, he was defeated by a dog again and again. Stupid dog, you've completely angered me. Zhong Yu's face turned ashen as he growled, A dog dares to be so arrogant. I think you must be tired of living. Noisy. However, before Zhong Yu could finish his sentence, the Dark Emperor rose from the ground and instantly appeared in front of him. Then, the Dark Emperor used his sharp front claws to grab Zhong Yu's chest. The Dark Emperor was so fast that Zhong Yu did not even have time to react. Looking down at the few bloody wounds on his chest, Zhong Yu opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something. However, he was stunned on the spot. He realized that the Dark Emperor was standing on his hind legs in front of him. The Dark Emperor crossed his front paws like a human and said calmly, Sometimes, a cheap mouth deserves to be punished. I'll punish you with 50 slaps 50 slaps. Zhong Yu was completely dumbfounded. After the previous 2 exchanges, he had already recognized the gap between him and the Dark Emperor. Even if he were to use his trump card, he would not be a match for the Dark Emperor. As the saying goes, when you are under the eaves of a dog, you have to lower your head. Zhong Yu understood this logic, but he couldn't bring himself to apologize to a dog no matter what. Moreover, many people in the hall had already seen what happened here, and they were all looking over here. What? You aren't willing to make a move? The Dark Emperor raised his eyebrows and said, since that's the case, I'll make a move myself. Whoosh. Right at this moment, Du Chun took a step forward and arrived before the door of the pill refinement room. He said, "This. Senior, please be magnanimous and don't stoop to my junior brother's level." Actually, Du Chun was very unwilling to plead for Zhongyu because he didn't get along with her and she was arrogant and ignorant. Such a person had to suffer a little. Otherwise, even if they entered the capital, they would still be at a disadvantage. However, Du Chun did not want to watch a dog force Zhongyu to slap herself. With so many people watching, if Zhongyu was forced to slap herself, not only would he be embarrassed, even his master, Master Tong, would be embarrassed. In order to protect his master's dignity, Du Chun lowered his stance. "I believe my junior brother didn't mean it. I apologize on his behalf." "You apologize on his behalf?" The Dark Emperor pointed at his nose and smiled. "How about this? I'm easy to talk to. As long as you slap him 50 times, I can let bygones be bygones." "Senior, can I not slap myself?" Du Chun asked. "If you don't slap yourself, then scram. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you." Glaring at Du Chun, the Dark Emperor turned to Zhongyu and said, 50 times. "Finish it in 30 seconds, or I'll beat you up so badly that even your mother won't recognize you." "Stupid dog, don't go too far." Clenching her fists, Zhongyu yelled, "This is the Pill Refinement Union. It's not a place for you to behave atrociously. I won't lower myself to your level, but I hope you can behave yourself and leave." "Hee hee." The Dark Emperor laughed. Zhongyu was really cute. Even now, he still hadn't realized the situation he was in. Such a person had to be taught a lesson so that he would remember it. With a cold expression, the Dark Emperor dashed toward Zhongyu again. "Uncle Rong, save me." As soon as the Dark Emperor made his move, Zhongyu screamed and quickly retreated. Swoosh. As Zhongyu was retreating, a figure came from afar and took over his position in the blink of an eye. The figure raised his palm and clashed head-on with the Dark Emperor. Rustle. After the attack, the figure retreated a few steps before stabilizing himself. As for the Dark Emperor, he only retreated 2 to 3 steps before regaining his balance. In comparison, the difference between the two was obvious. "It's so strong." Rong Sheng's expression was a little ugly. He didn't expect a dog to have such powerful combat strength. Even a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm like him couldn't get the upper hand. Although he hadn't used his full strength and had only used 30% of his strength, the fact that the black dog was able to block 30% of his attack was enough to show the black dog's strength. If they weren't at the Alchemy Union, Rong Sheng really wanted to test the Dark Emperor's real strength. "How did Zhongyu offend you?" Rong Sheng knew that Zhongyu was Master Tong's disciple. Helping Zhongyu was the same as helping Master Tong. He had wanted to ask Master Tong to help him refine a 5th-grade elixir a long time ago, but Master Tong didn't seem to care. Now that he was helping Zhongyu, he didn't have to worry about Master Tong not helping him. He had decided to stand on Zhongyu's side. "Uncle Rong, how did I offend him?" With Rong Sheng's appearance, Zhongyu felt safe. He said coldly, "I just wanted to enter the alchemy lab to look for my master. Who would have thought that this stupid dog would lie in front of the door and refuse to give way? He even attacked me. You must seek justice for me." At the side, Du Chun heard Zhongyu's words and bit his lips. As if he had made a big decision, he said, "Uncle Rong, it's not what junior brother said. It was junior brother who first disrespected senior, and then attacked senior. Du Chun said, senior was forced to do so, otherwise he wouldn't have attacked junior brother." Du Chun. Zhongyu's face was livid. He scolded Du Chun, "Lying will bring retribution. I advise you to take back your words, or else. I say, have you guys discussed it?" The Dark Emperor was a little impatient. He said, "If you have discussed it, then get lost. Leave that octopus behind and slap him 50 times, not one less." In fact, the Dark Emperor was already very restrained. After all, When he came out of the alchemy lab, Ningyu had told him not to cause trouble and not to let anyone enter the alchemy lab. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.